Settle your tax problem and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
They need a lot of help on Maui. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. And they're helping each other after deadly wildfires.
We have necessities because of all the people who have just rallied together to help Lahaina. And it's just been amazing to witness. The aloha spirit is still very much alive in Hawaii.
Heather Gannis is one of the hundreds who've lost homes. Hundreds more remain unaccounted for.
A mobile morgue has been brought to the island, and of the 106 confirmed dead, only 5 have been identified. Officials here saying it is going to be a long, painstaking process of identifying all of the dead.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon on Maui. The FEMA administrator, just back from Hawaii, is giving a briefing at the White House. The president and first lady plan to visit Maui on Monday. 1 week to the first Republican presidential debate on Fox, one candidate makes a move. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, now the only one to hit double-digit support in Fox polling, besides former President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Scott among several Republican hopefuls spending a lot of time.
Come on. Come on now. Let's get down to business, Hannah.
Brass tacks.
Go ahead. I'm not going to joke around. I don't like doing that.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking, how do you politically identify? Are you MAGA? Are you conservative? Are you Republican? Or are you something else? Let us know how you politically identify yourself.
Come on, let us know. Quit joking around.
And if you're on the left and you are like, hey, you have nothing here for us, you need to vote other in this poll so that the next time I do these types of polls, I throw you more options. Because to me, Democrat or liberal or progressive is other.
Yeah. Come on. If you're liberal, Democrat, or other, just vote other.
Come on, non-binary
Come on.
person.
Politically non-binary.
That would be other.
Yeah, so
I identify as
politically non-trinary because there are 3 other choices.
Identify as politically two-spirit.
the comment section should be popping today because there's lots of other names you could call yourself or identify with politically. So leave a comment for that on our YouTube live chat poll. Wiggins, why don't you share who's...
How are we going to start the show? Come on. We're going to start with Deroy Murdock right out of the gate. Are you kidding me?
Are you getting paid by the come on?
Yeah.
I'm just fired up.
Is it a chat?
Yeah. You posting that now?
I will in just a minute.
You'll be other things to do.
You'll
like
be
the video she's on right now.
You'll be privy to that shortly, I think. The Georgia indictment and Biden's Ukrainian pay-to-play scheme are the topics right from the start of the show with Deroy Murdock joining us.
He's moving up
hour
schedule.
Yep, hour early, and then in the normal Deroy Murdock slot of 1:05, it is Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project.
On video, we think.
We hope.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Set it up.
That's what I've heard. Is that you'll be here and be able to watch that interview happen in ways that are only now available to us in 2023, and because Brad's here. All right. Stewie at 125 talking about the credit downgrade, which I'm interested to hear about because that is just news that is interesting, but I don't really know how to process it.
Mortgage rates going up.
And talking about mortgage rates too, of course, with Stewie. And then we are going to wrap because we're going to get to Deroy here soon. So stick around.
Vote on the poll.
Oh, and the poll. Vote in the poll.
Do it after Diamond's directing. Do it live.
Sorry. You can come in at 25 if you want to.
25.
That's too many Annies.
Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Can you believe we're in the second half of August already? That blows my mind. I sent my kids back to school today, and the temperatures have cooled a little bit here, but from what I understand, we got hot air coming back in. Summer is not over, and we all know here in the St. Louis area how fickle that weather can be through the fall. If your air conditioner is not going to make it through the rest of the summer, you need Air Comfort Service to come give yourself that system check. They do the whole system. It's not just the AC. They check the whole system with that $54 AC service system check. For a limited time, Air Comfort Service is offering it for $54 for that HVAC system check. And unlike a lot of heating cooling companies, Air Comfort Service will check the entire system and not just the AC. So you get a lot of bang for your buck with this $54 HVAC system check. But you got to reach out to them and schedule an appointment to get this done. And you can mention the Annie Frey Show when you call. That always helps. 314-513-0091. Call them and schedule an appointment today with the people I trust in my home at Air Comfort Service. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
Together Credit Union is the official banking partner of St. Louis City SC, which means Together Credit Union is the only place to find the official City SC debit card, which comes with special perks. There's no cost for the City SC debit card, so don't wait and sign up today online at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rip my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I believe we have a compromised president. He was bribed and now he's being blackmailed. He's a Manchurian candidate. That's why Crooked Joe is letting other countries walk all over the United States. He's afraid to bring it up. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's petrified of China because they know exactly how much money has been given to him, and they know exactly where it is.
Listening to President Trump define President Biden sounds like something President Biden, previously Vice President Biden, would have said about candidate then President Donald Trump. You follow? It's a little cyclical. Sometimes it feels like Washington, D.C. is a little incestuous in the way that these circles go, but the American people are always left in the wake of the corruption that takes place in our nation's capital, and the Biden corruption continues to mount. Listen to Chuck Schumer say, nothing to see here, nothing at all.
These investigations, they don't matter to the average American people. This is the right wing, the hard right wing talking to each other. Let them keep talking to each other.
Let them keep talking to each other. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, you were in the Senate in the two impeachments that were put against Donald Trump, and you made the case that things that didn't even happen were the business of the American people and the business of the American tax dollar in those incredibly expensive impeachments that you put the country through and Donald Trump through, and your Senate couldn't actually get the conviction through. So apples and oranges, are you joking me right now? Everybody who sees Joe Biden and everybody who sees Hunter Biden at least raises an eyebrow. There's always the following thought to the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden corruption connection. For people on the left who go, yeah, that looks bad, but I mean, how bad is it? Do I want Donald Trump to be the president? That's always the end all be all for these folks. The worst thing that could happen is not that we could be selling on the taxpayer dime, selling influence in the highest levels of offices in the land, elected offices in the land. That's not the scariest thing that could happen here in America. The scariest thing that could happen is that Donald Trump would be reelected. We see that because the indictments, the 4 indictments, you watch the agenda-driven media cover the indictments 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have to pull out. My favorite thing that I've ever played on the air is the count from Sesame Street counting to 4. And it just made it settle a little bit easier in my mind, because nothing that the American people are observing about the witch hunt into Donald Trump compared to the Chuck Schumer's line right there. There's nothing to see here. This is just Republicans talking to Republicans. Let them talk. That's been the agenda-driven media's narrative since Donald Trump put himself in the spotlight. And we sit here and we watch as they say nothing to see here. And you and I both know there is a whole lot to see here. And the more they say it, the more I want to look. Let's get to our friend a little bit early today on this Wednesday afternoon, Deroy Murdock. We're excited to have him on the show, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and a weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show. Deroy, thanks for joining us a little bit early today. There's always so much to talk about with you.
Annie, great to talk to you now or later, as the case may be.
You know, I don't know if you were able to hear Chuck Schumer's words that I played a little bit earlier, but he said that the GOP investigations into the Biden family don't matter to the American people. It's just Republicans talking to Republicans. Is there any element of truth to what Chuck Schumer is saying here?
Well, you know, I'm not sure every American is following every jot and tittle of the various Hunter Biden and possibly even Joe Biden scandals and controversies, but I think people generally know that something unusual is happening here, and that there's, I figure I last saw is something like 80% of the people in the United States don't have faith in the Department of Justice. Majority of people believe we have a two-track justice system. I call it the heaven and hell justice system, heaven for Democrats, hell for Republicans. And if you're a Democrat, you get away with all sorts of stuff, including, at least so far, what looks like possible foreign bribery of the then Vice President of the United States and his family members. And if you're Donald J. Trump, you're indicted in four different prosecutors are coming after you, including, of course, this situation in Georgia. I was stunned. I took a look at this indictment. I'm reading through this thing, 97 pages. And Act 1, there are all these illegal acts. The very first act listed by this Fannie Willis, DA of Fulton County, Georgia. Act 1, on or about the 4th day of November 2020, Donald John Trump made a nationally televised speech falsely declaring victory in the 2020 presidential election. So the first illegal act is he gives a speech to the nation as President of the United States. Are you kidding me? This is against the law now for the president to give a national speech on national television to the American people. Wow, I didn't know that was against the law. I'll have to brush up on my law books here to see what isn't illegal in 2023.
Yeah, I'm just rolling through my mind, and I know that I have this entire library full of sound cuts of years of doing the show where I could pull elected Democrat after elected Democrat talking about things specifically about Donald Trump that were just completely patently false. And we don't even bat an eye in the direction of those mistruths that were really pushed to disparage this man and really lead him to the point where 4 indictments later, a lot of America who doesn't pay a whole lot of attention goes, well, we've been hearing this about this man the whole time he's been on the scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, Adam Schiff got up and talk about nationally televised speeches. How many times did he get up in the House press gallery and stand in front of, I don't know, probably 2 dozen cameras and say, I have incontrovertible proof that Donald J. Trump is a Russian asset controlled by the Kremlin. He said it over and over and over on national television, on radio, probably in print, for the better part of 3 years. And we've all been waiting for that evidence. If he's got that evidence, I'd love to see it. Hold a press conference, lay it out so we can see it. This man lied through his teeth nonstop for 3 years. He's still lying. And where are the indictments on him? I mean, those are spreading, knowingly, provably false claims about the President of the United States, or that then president, now ex-president, former president. Is he going to face indictment? I doubt it. I doubt he's going to face any kind of legal repercussions for that ongoing 3-year-long campaign of lies in which the FBI was involved, in which the Department of Justice was involved, a whole bunch of federal officials, and no repercussions for those people. Almost all of them now literally have book deals and TV contracts. No joke.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating to observe. Deroy Murdock joins us right now. He's a Fox News contributor and nationally syndicated columnist. While the Trump indictment number 4 sucks all of the oxygen out of the room, as per the plan, I assume. Meanwhile, the Biden scandal that connects Hunter Biden to Joe Biden and the business dealings that were done overseas to line the Biden family pockets, that fire is not going out. In fact, it's growing as the House continues to investigate bank records, factual pieces of evidence that are documented. It is looking worse and worse for the Biden family. a lot of the people who listen to the show and will comment to the show as it goes on will say, you can't really prove that Joe Biden benefited from anything that Hunter Biden was doing. I wonder what you would say to that, Deroy.
Well, a couple things. One is the bribery law. The bribery is listed specifically as a grounds for impeachment of the President of the States, by the way. And it says that the bribery law says that you don't directly need to be a beneficiary of the bribery. You know, you could say to somebody, hey, look, if you want my vote on that bill, that's great. You need to put $100,000 in my son's bank account or my wife's bank account or my kids' bank accounts, as the case may be. You know, you may benefit indirectly in the fact, or may benefit directly knowing, hey, my son is financially more stable, my kids are financially more stable, whatever it is, or I'm going to help out my business partners. People have gone to jail for arranging all sorts of things where they didn't get paid, but their business associates or their relatives or loved ones, friends got paid, and maybe in turn those people, take them on vacations or pay their bills or give them, really elaborate Christmas gifts, whatever the case may be, or maybe they just get great satisfaction about helping people around them. So the bribery law doesn't say that the benefit has to come directly to you. It can be to people around you, and we know from the bank records and other financial documents that have been gathered and released by James Comer, congressman from Kentucky, the head of the House Oversight Committee, that there are 9 different, not just Hunter Biden, but 9 different members of the Biden family, Hunter Biden, 8 other members of the Biden family, including, I believe, a niece and nephew and a grandchild who received money from Hunter Biden's clients and business associates in all of these shady deals around the world. Amazing. And then there's one of the Bidens is a mystery Biden. We don't know if that's Joe Biden or somebody else. But, even if Joe Biden personally doesn't get any money, but he knows, hey, my son's taken care of, my grandkids are taken care of, my nieces and nephews are taken care of, my brother's taken care of, he may not see any money, but he may have the psychological benefit of knowing, hey, I'm a great guy, I've taken care of my loved ones in a big way. And maybe they're really nice to him at Christmas time as a consequence. So he doesn't necessarily have to have any money put directly in his bank account, and he still could be impeached for bribery or prosecuted in federal court for bribery based on what the bribery law says, which the money doesn't necessarily have to come directly to you.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, a friend of the Annie Frey Show, nationally syndicated columnist and a Fox News contributor. I'll point people to the Daily Caller, where you have a great timeline of the Ukrainian pay-to-play scheme that confirms Biden's corruption. That's your headline. I look at the political ramifications. There's so much legalese that goes along with all of this, and I'm not a lawyer, and I don't have the legal expertise to dig into this, so we have a lot of lawyers on here. But there's also a huge political consequence, good or bad, that comes with the Biden corruption and the potential Trump corruption as he is being indicted for time and time again. We have a YouTube live chat poll for today, and it's how do you identify politically? And I have MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other. And it's my mind that MAGA, conservative, and Republicans, all 3 of those different groups of people are going to have to come together to defeat essentially the swamp in November 2024, no matter who the nominee is. I'm wondering if you think that is a possibility.
Well, it's interesting that you have that trichotomy, MAGA, conservative, Republican. I consider myself a MAGA, conservative, Republican.
There you go.
It can be all of the above. I don't think those are at all mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
And I know people say, oh, I'm a populist. But then you say, all right, what do you believe in? And it overlaps 95% with what conservatives believe. We have very few Rockefeller Republicans, and we have terrible people like Chris Christie, who's just a total loser on so many levels. But, I think most people are dedicated to the broad Trump America First agenda, which is limited government, individual freedom, personal responsibility, free enterprise, and peace through strength. Those are sort of the five ideological pillars in which I try to advance. And we may differ here or there on one issue, one side, or one level of intensity, or whatever the priorities are. But I think most people I know on the right want to see lower taxes. We want to see less regulation. We want school choice and higher performance and excellence in education. We want to see this border, and I put it in quotes, this quote border unquote closed.
Right.
And we want to see. We're not interested in seeing our 8 and 9 and 10-year-old boys have their penises removed and our 10 and 12-year-old girls have their breasts removed. We don't want any part of that. And we want to see America that's strong on the world stage and terrorists and mullahs and North Korean dictators and so on the run, not on the advance. So I don't think it's at all difficult for us to agree on the agenda. I think there is some question about whether people like or dislike Donald J. Trump's personality. But in terms of his policy agenda, I think that he probably, I think 90, 95, 98% of people on the right agree on what it is want to do. And the question is, are you also comfortable with him every now and then opening his mouth and having some very colorful things come out that, I find kind of entertaining, other people find very disturbing. I think that's pretty much the only significant point of contention we've got right now.
It's interesting that you would say that you find it entertaining and other people find it disturbing, because I know a lot of Biden voters who would say the same thing about Joe Biden, where the things that come out of his mouth, you kind of go, what? But they're still like, well, I'm still voting for him because I can't stand the other guy. So it's funny how that goes both ways.
It is funny that goes out both ways. Exactly.
Deroy, thanks for being with us early today. We appreciate you very much.
You bet. Okay, Annie. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Sounds great. Yeah. Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. Check out his article in the Daily Caller, where he does line out for you that timeline of the Ukrainian pay-to-play scheme, which, in his words, confirms Biden's corruption. I got the article right here, and it's a very nice read. I love timelines. I love things that are broken down so my attention deficit disorder brain can follow along without getting easily distracted by pretty much anything. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this YouTube live chat poll. Ryan's going to join us in studio. Wiggins America at 12:45, but we'll have a conversation about how we identify politically. And I have MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other. Deroy just blew the whole thing out of the water by saying, I'm all three. That's an interesting perspective that I actually hadn't considered myself. Maybe your other vote is, I can't pick just one because I fit in all three. It's an interesting angle to that poll, and we'll discuss it with the crew in here when we come back. Don't go away.
Let the music take your mind. Just release and you will find.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
That you're going my way. I love it when we're cruising together. Music is played for love, cruising and made for love. I love it when we're cruising together.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Summer clearance sale at the Diamond Shop is still happening, so you still have the opportunity to save up to 70% off some beautiful pieces located at the Diamond Shop in Clayton. When you go online to thediamondshop.net, you're going to be able to see some of the beautiful, beautiful pieces that they have available to you. And one of my favorite things about the Diamond Shop is if they don't have it, they can make it. And they're so wonderful at taking what you're dreaming of, what you fantasized about getting for somebody, and turning it into the thing that will become timeless for that special someone in your life. Brad was emphatically nodding because Brad had something done exactly like that for his wife, and she was very, very happy. If you want to save right now, you need to go to the Diamond Shop and check out their up to 70% off summer clearance sale. This is a great opportunity to save, even on, yes, Christmas gifts. 6 months, same as cash for their customers. So if you're looking to spread out some payments and get something real nice for somebody very special, now is the time to do it. Learn how to become a VIP at the Diamond Shop and see what is there for you to peruse at thediamondshop.net.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm also sorry that the American people are going through Bidenomics. Bidenomics is pretty simple. It's just bigger government, more spending, and higher prices.
Bigger government, more spending, and higher prices. Have you experienced this? I know that you have. It's hard to avoid. Overall inflation is at 16% right now. Groceries at 20%. And when we hear that inflation is down, 3% or something, it's always cumulative over what it was last year. People don't know that specifically. I didn't know that until inflation started going out of control and I had to learn these things. And the president will take so many different economic numbers, switch up some terms, make himself sound like Bidenomics is the best thing to ever happen to the United States of America. And taxpayers are standing there go, I'm either too stupid to understand economics because what President Biden is saying is not jiving with my experience, or I know that this guy is lying to me because he wants to win re-election and this is what he thinks he has to do. And he trusts that I'm too stupid to understand it. It's pretty disgusting, actually, when you think about it that way. The YouTube live chat poll today is, how do you politically identify? You have 4 choices. You got to commit to one. I need your vote and your support. It's how I make sure that I sleep okay at night, which is moderately true. How do you politically identify? MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other? What is the biggest one that you identify with? Brad, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Ryan.
I think the biggest one that I identify with is conservative. MAGA is important, but I think MAGA can mean so many things to so many different people.
Usually the haters.
Yeah.
The hatters.
Yeah. So I am definitely conservative. That would be my most important one of those 3. So that's how I politically identify.
Christopher says I identify American. Which is a great suggestion, and that goes under other.
That's right.
Ryan, what about you?
It's not American, it's American.
Okay.
I identify as conservative simply because I am more attached to the philosophies that bring me to these conclusions than the party. Although I don't run from Republican like I probably had in the past. I think people used to use that as a pejorative, and I'm like, well, I don't care anymore. But still,
is it that you don't care what Republican means anymore, so you're okay with it, or that the people who are that the word isn't as negatively connotated as it used to be?
I think it's the word, and it may just be me too, because I don't know. I'm getting older. I probably don't care what people say or think as much as I used to. But
that Social Security check will do it to you.
The word Republican, I just don't think has the same fully negative connotations, because what they do now is they use MAGA. They call you ultra MAGA, or they call you whatever, a Trump supporter instead of Republican. And I don't really care about any of those things. I'm still sticking to conservative, though, because to me it's about the philosophy of government more than any sort of particular movement.
I am a conservative. That's what I would vote in this. And I don't feel conservative. Republicans should be conservative. If you pick Republican, then I feel like you're very into waving the red flag. And that means something to you. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Same if you were to pick Democrat and you are about the party. That's fine. If you were saying, oh, I'm a liberal, I call myself a liberal, or I call myself a progressive, that would be more of the ideology that we're kind of saying conservative is. But when you go to MAGA, because if you've noticed this, the left identifies anybody who doesn't support everything that they do as MAGA. Because MAGA is the monster in the closet. He is there to haunt you and kill you and eat you at night. Don't look in there. You can't even, he's so terrifying to look at, you can't even see him.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to know that don't look at him, because if you see him, he'll eat you. That's kind of the way I feel. I live with small children. So I watch movies like Monsters, Inc. or whatever. And to me, like, there's this scene in Monsters, Inc. where Sully, who's the big blue and purple fluffy monster, he gets the small child who goes by Boo, and they are creating this unlikely relationship. And
it's kooky.
It is. And Boo's tired, so Boo lays in Sully's bed, and he's tucking Boo in, and she's pointing at the closet. She's like, she's scared, and you can tell she's scared because there's a monster in her closet, because she knows that there is a monster that normally comes out of the closet in her bedroom. And he's like, no, there's no monster in your closet. There's nothing there. See? And he opens the door, and then he walks in, and he looks both ways. He goes, up, no monster here. And he goes, well, now there is. One of my favorite lines of the movie. But the boogeyman that is the MAGA monster is what the left wants to simplify everything conservative down to. I would say I'm MAGA. I think the thing about MAGA that starts to frustrate me, and I'm learning this a little bit more every day, is that Republican used to be the thing that we would judge each other on. Republicans would judge how Republican we are in our own, like, we all got invited to the party and we're all celebrating the same wins and working towards the same goals, broadly speaking. But then we get in and we start slapping each other because we are not exactly the same kind of Republican that everybody else is. To me, the people who are the most judgmental about whether you're MAGA enough are within the MAGA community. And it can't, to me, I would say I'm MAGA. I know that there are people in my life who don't politically align with me who would be like, she's ultra MAGA. Mm-hmm. And then there are people who are in my life who are what I would call ultra MAGA, and they'd be like, no, she's not MAGA at all. Like, I'm not MAGA enough. So the MAGA thing to me is interesting because the idea of making America great again, first of all, wasn't first a Trump phrase, but he made it larger than life, of course. But now it is a pejorative used by the left. It's a badge of honor used by the right. And there are people in the middle who don't want to have to defend against people and their assertions of what that means because it's just too much work on a regular basis.
Yeah, I appreciate people nowadays, especially, who still are like, no, listen, my label is Red Hat MAGA. And not because of Trump so much as because they're clearly saying, I want to be a thorn in the side of the establishment or the narrative. You know, it's like you're just flagrantly saying, I'm beyond conservative. I want to be in the way of whatever the train is.
It's just rebellious.
Which I appreciate.
You want to be a rebel. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and there's probably the equivalent of that on the left side. I can't identify it as much, but it would be something like the person who shows up at protests and they have pink hair.
No, it's like the resistor or like resist,
whatever that
or
is.
the nasty woman or whatever.
The
I mean,
pink hats.
But it's because it takes on a life of its own. So it becomes an icon of something that you can just show and expect that people know something about you. If I as a conservative who is Republican top to bottom, and I have no shame in saying that, and I would say I'm a MAGA Republican, me calling myself a conservative, going back to Deroy's point, which I'm really kind of actually grateful that he said this. He's like, I'm all three of those. I have to pick one. When you say you're conservative, you get to be Republican, you get to be MAGA, but conservative is the most palatable across the board. So I think, and I can hear people going, well, that's the easy way out. What is to be gained by saying I'm MAGA? It's the defense of Donald Trump. And it's the defense of Donald Trump based on the consistent attacks, fabricated attacks that are coming from the left, the people who are in power in this country right now, the Justice Department, certainly. If you say you're MAGA, then you're willing to put yourself, wouldn't you say you're putting yourself in the line of fire when you say that?
Yeah.
Conservative is like, oh, this is just me. This is how I identify.
Kind of, yeah.
And there could be zero, let's talk about Venn diagrams. The circles are the same. You could be conservative, you could be MAGA. That could mean the same thing to you. It doesn't mean the same thing to other people.
No, not at all. And that's the thing about MAGA is that when I see somebody, I walked into a Subway the other day and somebody was just wearing a giant MAGA shirt. And they didn't say anything, but I just had to be like, I think I know what you're going for. You're going for, hey, you want to go? You want to go? Let's go. I'm down for it.
You guys want to hear a Disney World story?
Train the cameras at me. Yeah, let's hear it.
Somebody who I travel with wears a Trump tank top. Trump for America 2024. Navy tank top, big, white, bold Trump letters that go across. This person is very proud of this shirt.
Mm-hmm.
This person washes the shirt at night so she can wear it again the next day.
Okay.
Very dedicated. We're in Epcot. Have I told this story on the air?
I don't think so.
We're in Epcot, and my group's walking around wearing the Trump shirt. I'm not wearing it. I actually bought a DeSantis Make America Florida shirt during COVID when I went to Florida during COVID before anybody was running for president at all. So I have my DeSantis shirt, but I'm not wearing that down there right now because I'm more afraid of the Trump people than I am of the Florida people wearing a DeSantis shirt, of which one of them is in my crew. We'd fight the whole time. That's not true at all. She's wearing this Trump t-shirt, Trump tank top, proudly, and every day, love your shirt. Oh, that's my guy. Love your shirt. Security guards. Hey, you get to go right in. Love your shirt. I mean, they're checking and everything like they would everyone else. But, I mean, tens of people every day are saying, that's my president. Love that. Make America great again. So on and so forth. We're in Epcot. And if you know anything about Epcot, the front part of Epcot it used to be called Future World. It's going to be something else now. You don't care about that. The back part is the World Showcase. And it is about a mile of a loop. And you go through, I think there are 11 countries. And that's the way the World Showcase is set up. But people walk that. So if you're an annual pass holder, you could go do your morning walk around Epcot. That'd be pretty sweet. We're walking through World Showcase, going through Germany, going past China, I think is next. And in the distance, you can see this man walking towards us with a tank top. And it says Trump across it. We're like, oh, it's going to be a meeting of the minds. And he gets a little closer, and it says Trump for prison.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And my husband,
and they're meeting in China?
My husband and I look at each other. Yeah. My husband and I look at each other like, oh, it's going to happen. What are we going to do? So we just kind of like walk with this little smirk on our face, like cover our mouth, tee-hee, tee-hee. Let's not fight about this. And it was hilarious because as this person was approaching us, I could see the moment that he saw our Trump for America shirt, and the dude smirked. And I bet he thought, that's absolutely ridiculous wearing that here. And then he thought, oh, wait, we're the same people. Like, what are you going to do? There was a smirk, and he was walking his however many steps or miles that day through Epcot, and they passed, and then the person in my group was like, I wonder if he'd take a picture with me. I'm like,
that would be great.
Why can't this be the way it is?
That's what I was going to say.
You got something to say, you say it, and the world showcase goes, okay, I'm going to Germany next to have a pretzel. And the other person says, well, this is what I think. And you just smirk. Because in so many ways, when we're two completely opposite sides, we're on the same coin. I have a feeling that guy loves his country and is passionate about it and thinks differently on every policy that I would think. I won't speak for the person wearing the Trump shirt. Granted, that person is very conservative and thoughtful about it. But both sides have passion. I would almost rather have passion than indifference. And if you're the person who boldly, like you said at Subway, is wearing a MAGA shirt, you wear that shirt for a purpose. You call yourself MAGA for a purpose. I think it's also a risk to be like, yeah, I'm conservative. I mean, you don't go to Hollywood, you don't act in a Hollywood movie and be like, conservative superstar Chris Pratt. His biggest flaw in Hollywood is that he's a devout Christian.
Yeah, shame on him.
So we know some things about him, and he's hunted before. I mean, you can deduce these things. I don't know.
He's celebrating Easter on Instagram.
Yeah.
Get him out of Guardians.
How dare he? It's the actual reality of how much we surrender to the capital T, they or them, that get to control who gets to say what. You can't really identify that person. It is a monster in the closet. It's not MAGA. It's not the super far left. It's the people who get to profit off of the mind control that only exists in fear. And if you're fearless, wearing a Trump shirt at Epcot, whether it says Trump 2024 or Trump for prison, those two people existed in the same place at the same time. And from my seconds long observation of it, both were pretty amused by it. Nobody died. Life went on. Statements were made. People all over the place were affected in no way. And life went on. So to me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to call myself conservative because I am conservative about the things that are foundational to my life. But I think that the idea and the mentality and the movement of MAGA is the best iteration of it that has existed in my lifetime. Born in the 80s, born in a Reagan era, learned how to walk in that era. So this is my observation. Be bold. I mean, I'm not telling you to go out and be like, I just want everybody to know every time you walk in a room, I'm MAGA. That's not going to go well for you. But I do think it's important for us to assess these labels that everybody else gets to define for you to wear and how we feel about them when we talk about them.
And also, just real quick, conservative to me isn't as temporal. It's not tied to any particular movement as much as it is ideas, which to me, therefore, is easier when you're talking to a group of people, especially that you don't know very well, or if you're talking to your liberal friends, like I often do, that they can't tie you to a particular person. In any given instance, they might be like, oh, you're a Republican, you love Herman Cain or whatever, You're not tied to any individual at the moment and what they say, because people are going to say things that you don't necessarily agree with that are Republicans.
Yeah.
So you don't have to defend every statement that a Republican makes. You can say it's about the ideas.
And you can see this on the left, too, because there are a lot of people that are on the left that are not defending the mounting evidence against what Hunter Biden and Joe Biden seem to.
Exactly.
And you know that they're not defending it by how quickly they pivot to Donald Trump.
Exactly.
They're not defending it. They're not talking about it. Big difference, but an important one nonetheless. Wiggins America, when we come up, what is it?
Yep. It is going to be about ways that divorces often happen and how to avoid those things in conflict.
Trump tank tops.
That's number one.
We'll be right back. Centric Security, an automation, nationally recognized company, but they're right here in St. Louis. And if you have been looking for the right company that cares about the things that you care about, that wants to help secure your business that you're pouring your heart and soul into, your office building, your employees, your people, yourself, you need Centric Security and automation. If you're looking to upgrade an aging video surveillance system, an inadequate access control system, the ability to get in the building by swiping in or whatever it might be in order to make sure that you know who's coming and going, Centric Security and automation can help you with that. Centric has standalone and cloud-hosted systems that provide easy remote monitoring and management of your system from an internet browser or mobile device. They also are service-centric. They're focused on providing you the amazing service that you want to have to go along with the system that Centric Security and Automation puts into your place of business, your office, your building. Call them at 314-442-6860. That's 314-442-6860. Find them online right now, centricstl.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hey, we are giving away Cardinals tickets all week for this Friday's game. It's Military Appreciation Night this Friday, but we're giving away another pair today, and I'm going to tell you the time. It's about an hour from right now, so 1:40-ish in that commercial break. We will tell you when to call. The time right now is 12:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, I'm asking you to save a life. I'm Mark Reardon, inviting you to join us for our annual blood drive in memory of Brett Bloom. Call 800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org and use sponsor code KMOX.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Well, I'm so lonely. I'll be so lonely I could die. Although it's all
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
What a interruption to Mr. Presley.
Yeah. Yeah,
If that song-
I was feeling that too.
I was going to say, if that song made you feel like dancing at your desk or in your car right now, it didn't stop Ryan Wiggins, that's for sure.
That was one of the only times that I did not want to hear my own name. I liked hearing the song and then Wiggins, oh!
And you were like, oh.
I was like, oh, it's me.
I have no idea what that's like.
Well, that's okay. What I want to talk about with you guys, 3 married couples in the room here, 3 married people anyway, married couples.
Not to each other.
Not to each other. We are not.
It would never
That would
work.
be 3 people. That would not work.
Hey, we can do whatever
Although
we want.
we all live in Illinois.
We can all do what we want. Is polygamy illegal? Is it legal in Illinois?
I don't know, but if it's not, it will be soon.
Do you guys
I
want?
promise.
Do you guys want to like prove a point in the state of Illinois till we get done?
Only if there's tax benefits. Because that is why I would do that.
There will absolutely be tax benefits for the state of Illinois. I promise you.
Yeah, they'll encourage it. You pay no taxes if you're in a tri-relationship.
Point 1 on the legislation we would like to pass. You can make money off of it, Illinois. And they're like, just sign here.
Okay, I'm married to all my friends, and I don't pay any taxes anymore. So the topic that I wanted to bring up, by the way, is about marriage. It is about the ways that divorced couples are saying, here are the big issues of what caused us to get a divorce. I figured I'd bring these up. We could talk about them and make sure that we're trying to avoid them. Not just us, but all of us, collectively all of us. The number is 7 of them. I'll start with the bottom ones because they are the ones that caused the least amount of friction, but still did. Number 7 was health choices. Brad, we talked pre-show about these a little bit. You being a person who had done marriage counseling, I was like, oh, well, you have
I've
to talk about
performed
this.
wedding ceremonies, and part of my requirement, if you would like me to perform your wedding ceremony, is that you have to do 3 months of premarital counseling with me. So I have discussed many topics with several couples, and like these, when I looked over this list, they usually fall into one of 2 categories. One, we need to communicate about this before we get married, so that we know where one another stands, because you don't want to wait for this to fall on top of you until it happens, you know, when you're already married. And then the other ones are stuff that you can actually work out once you've been married. This health issues one is one that I think that you could work out before, once you've gotten married.
Because it's hard to know what you're going to face.
Right.
I mean, in my case, in your case, we had health issues going into the marriage. But most people, you're gonna come across things.
Yeah, unless it's some sort of pre-existing condition or something that is going to cause a lot of strain. That's something you need to know about beforehand. But for the most part, you can work those out.
Amazingly, this is number 6 on the list. You would think this would have been number 1 or 2. Finances. People definitely fight over finances, but that is apparently, according to this article, not even number 1, 2, or 3. For what causes divorces, but at least it is on the list. Finances. That is not really an issue in our household. I don't know about you guys.
Well, it's because you've convinced your wife that she'll take an allowance from you.
That is a fact. Yeah, we went into marriage knowing that I would
your allowance will be this, and you'll be happy.
And no inflation attached at all either. It's the same as it was
cost
15
of living
years ago.
Increase?
No, none.
Yeah, and
can't wait to see Mrs. Wiggins picketing her own house.
This is actually one of those situations where you want to really have this worked out before you get into the marriage, because you as people have different ways that you deal with or handle finances. Some might want to be in charge, but have a more laissez-faire way of doing it, where other people are like, no, it has to be this way, this way, this way, and this way. And if you want to be in charge, but you don't do it the way this other person that has very strong feelings about it, you're going to cause a lot of strife in that relationship.
I think it has more to do with personality, though, because I don't think you can work out, especially if you get married young, you can't work out the financial things that you're going to need to work out and push through in your marriage when you're young, compared to when, maybe you're renting and then you go to buy a house and then you have a mortgage and then all of a sudden maybe you're making exponentially more money than you were at the beginning, or maybe one of you is making exponentially more money. So I think it has to do with trust as much as anything else, and an openness to communicate about it, and to make sure that the idea going into it, which is probably going to be the case with all of these things, is that you just understand that no one person owns a portion of the marriage, even though one person might take on more responsibility in the marriage.
Yeah, what I was more getting at was how you discuss and talk about and handle budgeting and stuff like that. Not necessarily where you're going to spend it or anything like that.
So number 4 and 5 are relationships with family and friends. those relationships with family, relationship with friends, separate ones, but I'm linking them together because those are issues that, Brad, we talked about. Those are things that you know when you go into a marriage.
You have to know.
You're marrying into a family.
Yeah, you're marrying the family as well as the person you're marrying.
Number 3 is division of household labor. This definitely comes up, and I don't know that we've ever really solved it. I mean, we have things that we each do, but it is something that we're constantly asking who's doing what. We don't have like a division of labor with household stuff.
The open lines of communication on these things are so important, though. That's what is at the core of most of these.
Number 2 is parenting differences. That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you have a different philosophy of life in general and you are approaching it differently than your spouse with your kids, that is going to cause a tremendous amount of friction.
Is number 1 religion?
It's not. I would say that would fall under...
How is that not any of these?
It seems like that would sort of play into almost all of these. But number 1 is career choices. Where you want to work, if you want to leave town.
I think this is a CNBC article, right?
Yeah.
I think that they're really missing the boat on talking about faith because honestly, in a secular world, you put all of these things in front of your faith conversation. And to me, if your faith does not match up or your understanding, you don't have to have the same faith specifically, but you have to know and respect and honor one another's. I think you're going to be much more successful if you do have the same faith, but it does not shock me that a secular outlet would just not put that on the list.
Yeah, it's true. Brad pointed this out in the article that almost half said career choices were the biggest one, but only 5% of divorcees say there was no way their marriage could have been saved. So of all the people, and it says something like 690,000 people got divorced last year, only 5% say there was no way it could have been saved. So they still had hope that it could have been saved. That's kind of sad. I hope that people would still continue to
As
work.
long as we continue to treat marriage like it's not a lifelong commitment and it's not an oath that you're taking and that it's something that becomes optional, then I don't understand why any of these things wouldn't be obvious deal breakers. So maybe if we would get back to the point where we were committing our lives to one another and fully committing to what marriage is actually supposed to be about, which is actually more than just yourself, I don't know that the divorce rate's going to continue to go in the wrong direction. Let's take a quick break. Mike Davis with us on the Annie Frey Show. We'll come back.
Has anyone seen Roger? Where's Roger? It's time to open the jewelry store.
Where is everyone?
Did they all take the day off?
At traditional jewelry stores everywhere, employees are quiet quitting and going to Diamonds Direct. Not just to work, but to shop. That's because even with employee discounts, Diamonds Direct offers all shoppers better selection and much better value. As a true direct importer of diamonds, Diamonds Direct has long-standing relationships deep in the world diamond industry, as well as the best diamond cutters across the globe, so they can say the quiet part out loud without the middleman markups. Diamonds Direct offers customers bigger, higher quality diamonds at a lower cost every day. Not to mention the best selection, the best customer service, best warranties, and best overall experience.
Hello.
Quiet quit paying too much for your diamonds. Go to Diamonds Direct. You won't be alone in how happy you are. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up? I'm tired of feeling so bloated. That used to be me. Then I got this. Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion. A probiotic, right? Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
They're working around the clock. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from FEMA Chief Deanne Criswell, who's back from Maui, where hundreds of FEMA staff have been sent for wildfire relief.
We have given out $2.3 million in assistance to families, and we have approved over 1,300 registrations for assistance.
Also mobilizing millions of liters of water and food, but she says it'll be a long, hard recovery.
And I want everybody to know this. The president, FEMA, and the entire federal family will be there to support the people of Hawaii as long as we are needed.
The fires are now blamed for more than 100 deaths, with thousands of structures damaged or destroyed and crews still searching for the missing. President Biden and the First Lady plan to visit Maui Monday, a trip Criswell says can offer hope for the community. President Biden is set to mark the one-year anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act later this hour, something the White House says is reducing energy and health care costs while creating jobs and making the nation's largest ever climate investment. Republicans criticize the cost and say it's part of a Biden agenda that's hurting working families. The former president still has a big lead over fellow Republicans.
Former President Trump's lead tops 30 points in most national polls. And in two Fox Business polls late last month, Trump led by 30 in Iowa and 34 in South Carolina. The Fox News Power Rankings finds the former president's hold over the party is both ideological and personal, with policies on the economy and immigration in lockstep with the Republican base.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis remains the top alternative despite campaign setbacks, while South Carolina Senator Tim Scott becomes the only other candidate to hit double-digit support in Fox polls in more than one state. The first GOP debate a week from today on Fox. You can hear special coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern at foxnewsradio.com. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Hosting a barbecue is a breeze, but managing my frequent heartburn, that was a lot more work. I would chew up to 10 antacids in one day. Now I take just one Prilosec OTC, and my heartburn is blocked for a full 24 hours. Just one Prilosec OTC a day gives me one-and-done heartburn relief, so I can go back for seconds on my world-famous burgers.
Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply enjoy this kind of weather in the middle of August. Temperatures this afternoon, 82 degrees, lots of sunshine, comfortable humidity. Tonight, clear and pleasant, 62 for the overnight low. Thursday, sunny, beautiful morning, a little bit warmer Thursday afternoon, 88. 59 Thursday night, Friday 82. Summer comes back over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
While the Republican candidates battle it out, we're kicking back and watching it unfold.
Join us for a GOP primary debate watch party.
Wednesday, August 23rd at Dave & Buster's.
It's free to attend, but space is limited.
Register at 971talk.com/events.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us, that's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The good news is we finally have Rudy Giuliani indicted. Woohoo! That makes me very happy. On the other hand, the bad news is that there's going to be probably a protracted battle about removing this to federal court. Could easily go to the Supreme Court as to whether or not this case is removed from the state court to federal court.
Well, Missouri, that's your former senator that you sent packing, Claire McCaskill, saying the good news is that they finally have Giuliani indicted, like it's been a goal of theirs for quite some time. The bad news is this case could end up at the Supreme Court. Let's get our guest, Mike Davis in here with us. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. He's also been involved in the chief counsel for nominations, the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary, and he joins us once again here on the Annie Frey Show. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you back with us today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So listening to Claire McCaskill there, a former senator from here in the state of Missouri, it seems as though they were out to get Giuliani as much as we feel like they've been out to get Donald Trump. What do you make of those comments?
Well, I forgot who Claire McCaskill was. I just remembered back in 2018 when we chased her out of the Senate when she voted against Justice Brett Kavanaugh's nomination, and after they made bogus allegations against him, 6 set of bogus allegations. They couldn't just stick to Christine Blasey Ford, They brought in 5 other buffoons. Christine Blasey Ford was lying through her teeth, but she was the most believable. But then they brought in 5 others. They're doing the same play now with President Trump. They couldn't just stick to President Trump having his presidential records in the office of former president in Mar-a-Lago, which is allowed by the Presidential Records Act. That's the most plausible case they had. They brought in these 3 other indictments, these clown indictments from these clown prosecutors, like Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, the Soros-funded DA who indicted a former president for the first time ever for the non-crime of a businessman settling a nuisance claim, and then Jack Smith brought his indictment of Trump for the non-crime of having his presidential records, and then Jack Smith indicted again for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Twisting arms politically is allowed by the First Amendment, and now we have Fulton County DA Fani Willis, this Atlanta Democrat, charging Trump for the 4th time for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election, and hers is the most clownish of them all because she charged 19 different co-defendants and 41 different felonies, and they're not even charging Jack Smith and Fani Willis and Merrick Garland and Joe Biden. They're not even charging for the riot. They're not even saying that Trump incited the riot, because he didn't. There's zero evidence of that because the House January 6th committee looked at that for years and spent tens of millions of dollars and found zero evidence that he incited the riot. So what is the crime? It is not a crime to object to elections. If it were a crime to object to an election, then Democrats would be in prison for objecting to Republican presidential wins in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. This is lawfare by Democrats because they fear they can't beat President Trump on November 5th, 2024.
You know, for people who are not legal experts like myself, first of all, we're speaking with Mike Davis, who is a legal expert. We're hearing the term RICO, conspiracy is part of this new conversation coming out of Georgia. When it becomes a RICO case in these individuals' minds, bring it down to my level here and explain to American voters and taxpayers what that assertion means.
This is so clownish by Fani Willis. That the RICO, that's the racketeering statute. There's a federal racketeering statute, and Georgia has their own racketeering statute, and they used this in the past to take down the mob. Now Democrats are using the racketeering statutes to take out their political enemies, and it is a novel. That's the nice way to put it. It is a bizarre legal theory. There is no chance that the Supreme Court of the United States is going to uphold any of these convictions by Jack Smith or Fani Willis based upon what happened on January 6th, unless they can prove that Trump incited the riot, unless they can prove that President Trump had Rudy Giuliani put the real electors in his trunk and had the fake electors steal their IDs and go in and vote. There's no crime here, right? No one was duped by what happened on January 6th. That's what Democrats have done in the past, including John F. Kennedy did in 1960. You put forward alternate electors. They're not fake electors. They're alternate electors. Everyone knows that there's a legal and a political dispute that is resolved. It was resolved this time, and Biden got put into the presidency. There's not a crime here. Even if Trump was being mean to his vice president, even if he called down in Georgia and said, find, 11,000 votes, that when you say find 11,000 votes, that means there are 11,000 votes to find. He didn't say create 11,000 votes. That's what Democrats do. That's fraud. He said, find them, right? So the Democrats are trying to criminalize the political process. And if they want to go down this path, this is going to end our republic. These are republic-ending indictments because there's going to be a tit for tat, and this is what happened. Remember, Caesar crossed the Rubicon from Gaul into Rome because of the lawfare against him. Caesar was a populist, and the Roman insiders hated him for this, and so they waged lawfare against him. And so Caesar crossed the Rubicon, and it led to a civil war because he felt like there was nothing else to do. And I'm not saying there should be a civil war here, but what's going to happen is there's going to be a tit for tat. Now, the next time there's a Republican president, Trump, and I'm his acting attorney general, during my 3-week reign of terror, I guarantee you that I'm going to indict people. I'm going to indict Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and James Biden, and every other Democrat who's on my list is going to be indicted during my 3-week reign of terror as Trump's acting attorney general before I'm chased out of town with my Trump pardon. Like, this is insane what the Democrats are doing it. And I almost think that these Democrats who are doing this, these aren't liberals who love America. These aren't old school Democrats. These are leftists. These are Marxists. These are Jack Smith and Alvin Bragg and Fannie Willis. These are hard-charging leftists. And you have to wonder, are they trying to destroy this country? Because there's nothing that is more destructive to America than trying to indict and imprison your political enemies. That's what you do in Zimbabwe and other third world Marxist hellholes, and now Atlanta and New York and Washington, D.C.
We're speaking with the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, Mike Davis. I mean, some of these things that you're referring to, that's really, like, in my almost 40 years of lifetime, this is unprecedented historically in this country. And you've talked about the future of the republic, and you've talked about some of these people who you don't consider to be Democrats. They're leftists, they're Marxists. And, you know, we saw Barack Obama come in and promise in his campaign to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Was this part of his plan that started in 2008?
Absolutely. Barack Obama was raised by Marxists. He is a Marxist. He was subversive. He got into power. He appointed people to these key posts within the government, including Jack Smith, was put in charge of the public integrity section under Eric Holder. And Jack Smith brought lawfare against former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, a likely Republican presidential or vice presidential contender in 2016. They brought these bogus charges against Governor McDonnell. He was convicted of corruption. It wasn't until several years later that the Supreme Court unanimously, 8-0, it would have been 9-0, reversed Jack Smith's criminal conviction of Governor McDonnell, but the damage was done. It is very hard to get a criminal conviction overturned by the Supreme Court. It is nearly impossible for that to happen unanimously. Jack Smith found the way, and it should have ended his legal career. He got banished to The Hague, where he was some, BS made-up judge in The Hague. Merrick Garland and Joe Biden brought back this loser from exile as a Scud missile and political hitman to take out President Trump. And they know this guy has no problem getting reversed unanimously by the Supreme Court. Years down the road, he did his job by taking out McDonnell. He's doing his job now by taking out Trump. And so are these other goofball, Soros-funded DAs like Alvin Bragg and Fannie Willis. Just watch their press conferences. Fannie Willis she's not exactly the brightest bulb out there, right? And she's bringing a racketeering indictment against a former president and a leading presidential candidate. Good luck, Fannie.
Mike Davis with us right now. When you're talking about how the Supreme Court would never uphold these, I mean, the time frame between now and when this would be in the hands of the Supreme Court, that'll move at what appears to be a glacial pace. What happens to Donald Trump's campaign in the meantime? What happens to the country in the meantime? And what happens to this election in the meantime?
There might be a way to get these January 6 cases in front of the Supreme Court faster. The Jack Smith indictment on January 6th and Fannie Willis's. President Trump needs to file a motion to dismiss these indictments, and he can make two legal arguments. Number one, presidential immunity, that he was acting within the outer bounds of his power as president of the United States when he was trying to enforce the Electoral Count Act of 1887, and therefore these states are not allowed to bring civil or criminal charges against a president of the United States based upon what he was doing while he was the president of the United States. It's called presidential immunity. We've had it for nearly 250 years, going back to George Washington. Alternatively, if they say he's acting within his personal capacity, which I don't know how they can, if they're accusing him of using his power as the president to try to twist his vice president's arms to make the vice president do something. Only a president could do that. A presidential candidate could not do that. So he's clearly acting within his official capacity, which is covered by presidential immunity. But even if he's acting within his personal capacity, it's First Amendment. He can raise a First Amendment argument that these charges are bogus. This is political speech and conduct protected by the First Amendment. Remember, they're not charging him with the riots, which would not be protected, right, by either. So if he raises presidential immunity, that is immediately appealable. They can remove this case to the Northern District of Georgia, the federal court, and then that judge would have to rule on it. And then it would go to the 11th Circuit, and then the Supreme Court could take that case immediately, interlocutory appeal to the 11th Circuit, writ of mandamus or prohibition to the Supreme Court. They could decide that issue immediately, and they would have to because it's dealing with presidential immunity. Just like any other sovereign immunity for any other government official, that is immediately appealable.
Mike Davis, last question before we let you go. You've spoken about your support for Donald Trump and what you will do in your aptly named 3-week reign of terror as acting attorney general. In your opinion, they're trying to move Donald Trump so that he cannot campaign. They're trying to take him off the campaign trail and make it impossible for him to complete the primary process, to become the nominee, to become the president of the United States again. Is there anybody else who can win the primary, win the Republican nomination, win the general election, and do what needs to be done to drain the swamp? Is there anyone other than Donald Trump that can do that?
No, and we have to stick with Donald Trump, because if we let this lawfare prevail, our country's over. This is the same thing that I said to senators behind the scenes during the Kavanaugh confirmation. I didn't want Kavanaugh before he was picked. I think he's a very nice guy, but I thought he was too moderate. He was too much in the mold of the Chief Justice. I wanted someone more conservative. But once they picked him, I was not going, as the chief counsel for nominations, there was no way in hell I was going to let the Me Too mob take him down, because it was so much bigger than Brett Kavanaugh. This is so much bigger than Donald Trump, that if we let these leftist mobs win, our country's done. Like, if we're going to say that you're guilty, even when you're proven innocent, there's a presumption of guilt. You're guilty even when you're proven innocent. Just like during the Kavanaugh fight, just imagine that your brother, your son, your father, your cousin gets falsely accused of sexual misconduct, and they're immediately guilty and canceled, even if they're innocent, even if they can prove that they're innocent. With here, this is lawfare. If they use this lawfare to go after President Trump, do you think they're going to stop with President Trump? Trump's in their way. Think of 100 years of Marxism. They killed 100 million people. These are the same leftists who didn't stop with trying to kill Kavanaugh. They didn't stop with the conservative justices like Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch. They tried to kill Kavanaugh in his home, and now they're even going after the Chief Justice and his wife, like the most moderate justice of them all. This is not going to end with Donald Trump. This is going to end with leftists destroying our country. And how we stop this lawfare is people say, you know what, we're not going to let Democrat prosecutors and Democrat judges and Democrat juries and Democrat hellholes like New York, D.C., and Atlanta decide the next president of the United States. We, the people, we, the American people, get to decide this, and you're seeing it. You're seeing this in the polling, Annie, that this is helping Trump. It's going to put him back in the White House.
Yeah, the stakes are absolutely high. Mike Davis, we're grateful for your time today to talk about this issue. I'm sure there will be more legal concerns in the near future. We always welcome you back on the show. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Annie.
Of course. We'll do it again soon. Wonderful to have Mike Davis on the show with us. He is the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, the founder and president of the Internet Accountability Project. He's also, as he was speaking about there, the chief counsel for nominations, U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. A lot of legal experience in Washington, D.C., and very helpful to give us that perspective here on the Annie Frey Show. When we come back, we're going to speak with Stuart Rosenblum. He's with one of my strongest supporters here on the show and a partner of ours here, Stuart's American Mortgage. He's going to talk to us about mortgage rates as they've continued to go up, the downgrade of the United States credit rating as well, and how the housing market is shaping up. So if you have questions about that, send them to me on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. Any questions that you might have, and we'll see if we can pick some and get them into the conversation with my friend Stewie when we return. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Window World, easy to find at windowworld.com. If you have any questions about windows right now, you can go get a free in-home estimate by giving them a call at Window World, 314-993-1800. I appreciate so much the importance of windows in your home. It's sometimes the thing you keep putting off. Yeah, we need new windows. Yeah, we need new windows. But as the weather fluctuates, especially in the Midwest, and your house contracts, and you have to deal with those builder's grade windows that have been put into your house a couple decades ago, and you know that they need to be replaced, you want to go to a product that you can trust, that you're going to invest your money in, and it's going to do the trick. And also potentially dramatically increase the look of your home. When you go with Window World windows, you get a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. Call them to schedule a conversation and an appointment and get that free in-home estimate at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Something that separates this company from the rest is their commitment to customer service. They have an excellent track record with both the BBB and other reporting agencies. Reach out to them and get the appointment scheduled today. 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Paramount Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Zero Res. I have a great offer for you. If you are looking to get your air ducts cleaned this August, Zero Res is going to let you take $100 off your August air duct cleaning when you call 474-2020 and mention 97.1 FM Talk. Did you know as many as 1 in 5 Americans suffer from allergies caused by particles frequently found in the air inside most homes? So if you have someone in your family that has allergies or asthma, or if you just want a cleaner home, Zero Res can help you with the air duct and dryer vent cleaning services. It's a 12-step professional source removal process. It guarantees your home will be clean to the highest standards, and right now it's $100 off. You know, I've talked about the dryer vents quite a bit. Dryer vents are one of the leading causes of home fires in the U.S., so you want to make sure that you clean that out at least every 1 to 2 years. And this is a great time to take advantage with an awesome offer from Zero Res. 314-474-2020. Online at ZeroResSTL.com. $100 off the air duct cleaning right now. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Summer's just getting started. Still need your air conditioner checked? Schedule your HVAC system check for only $54. This is a limited time offer. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jeff Murdock, he's the White House correspondent for the Washington Times.
Does this become real when he actually has to sit in a courtroom? I think for now it's easy for Trump to keep on doing what he's doing.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
I'm losing my self-control.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
But I don't want to fall down the rabbit hole. Cross my heart, I won't do it again. I tell myself, draw the line. Not do I do, but once in a while I
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
just like that. My head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over.
Today is not hyper. We have the strongest economy in the world. And you're looking at me a little skeptical, but I promise you, check it out. The strongest economy in the world.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I don't know if we have in fact the strongest economy in the world, but when Joe Biden says that, does make me want to do a little fact checking on his estimation there, and maybe that's just a relative thing. Maybe if the entire world is having a bad economy right now, maybe that doesn't necessarily mean the greatest thing for the United States. I've got my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage in studio with me, a great partner and sponsor of the show here. And when I have economic questions, I'm texting Stewie. I know this number from the top of my head, 314-324-4440. Which I did give out one time as the number to call the show. That's one of my favorite stories.
I love that. Did you get a lot of calls?
Yeah. I don't know. They were calling you.
They were calling me.
Yeah.
Can I speak to Annie? It's really great.
That's hilarious. So, Stewie, thanks for coming back in here right now. I'm looking at a headline from CNBC. Weekly mortgage demand drops again as interest rates match a 22-year high. And the thing about this story that's really sad to me is that there are still people who need mortgages. So, okay, maybe you get a rate that's over 7% because that's the best that is out there right now. People can't just go, well, I'll just buy a house later. People still need to buy houses right now.
You know what? One of the biggest questions everybody asks is, should I wait or buy? Because basically everybody that's in the industry, the experts are saying a year, 2 years from now, interest rates are going to drop back. Maybe I should wait. I really can't afford the payment. Now, what am I going to do? So the first piece of advice we give everybody all the time is the smartest move is to buy the house now. We understand the interest rates are higher, but think about this. In a year, let's say the interest rates go down to 5%, you're going to have an increase of inventory out there. There'll be more sellers that'll be willing to sell because they can buy at lower rates, but it's not going to be proportional to the buyers. So if you think going in and bidding on a house now and bidding 20, 30,000 over asking price is a challenge, wait till a year from now where you have 4 or 5 times the multiples of buyers out there that are saying, hey, I want the same house. I'm going to give you $100,000 over the asking price. So the smart thing to do is to buy the house now and then refinance once the rates go down. You get a better price. Long term, you pay less. That's the way to do it.
So I've done a refinance with the Bagel Loan with Stewie back when rates were just super. We did all those commercials. It was like, rates are at historic lows. I remember saying that. And going through the Bagel Loan, when you don't have to pay any fees to do that, it does make sense to get the house right now, especially if the competition in the market is going to go on the rise when the rates do come down in the future. I think that if Joe Biden's out there saying that we have the best economy in the world and he's constantly pushing this Bidenomics name as if it's something that we're all going to go, yeah, that's what we call this and we love it. Fitch and Moody's has just downgraded the credit. Explain to me what that means. I see that and I'm like, that seems really bad.
Well, it is bad. It's terrible for interest rates too, because you have to understand nobody lends their money for 30 years at a fixed rate. People want to lend or invest and then go ahead and reinvest as the interest rates go up and down. So most of the money or most mortgages are securitized on Wall Street with what we call mortgage-backed securities or bonds, okay? These are Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac insured vehicles. So when people invest in them, they're pretty sure they're going to get paid because it's insured by the government. Well, if the credit rating of the government is going down the tubes, it's not as secure, and the people issuing those bonds are finding that they can't find buyers. Because why would I want to invest in security? I'll invest in some other type of vehicle that pays me the same or more that's much more safer. So all of a sudden, interest rates spiked because the credibility of our government is questionable. Are they going to be able to pay? Or are we going to be in a last-minute crunch for budget? What's going to happen?
How can we have, I'm not really asking you a political question, more of an economics question, but if we have a president who has labeled something, which is like a total millennial Gen Z thing to do, like everything has to have a name. Now this is Bidenomics. That's the economic plan of this administration. And he's really running his next campaign on the success of Bidenomics. How can we have Bidenomics be as successful as it's being presented to us and have credit downgrades? Are they completely unrelated? They might be. I don't know.
I'm still trying to define what Bidenomics is. So I can't search and understand exactly what the premise is. I look around and I see, well, let's see. We have inflation. It's getting better, but it's not where it's supposed to be. There's no incentive for corporations to reinvest in the country, so that's not happening. Wages are going up a little bit, but not proportional to the inflation numbers. So where is our benefit? And I don't see it happening overall, and that's not from a political standpoint. I see customers coming in. Do you know what I see on a daily basis now? We get calls every day.
I bet I can guess.
Go for it.
Debt, credit card debt, out of control, don't know how to fix it, need to refinance their mortgage.
Unbelievable amount of credit card debts. I had a customer we're refinancing right now. A year ago, their credit score was 780. We've refinanced them many times over the last decade or so. He has almost $100,000 of additional credit card debt accrued. And I asked him, and I ask you folks listening out there, I bet you, because we canvassed this, you can't tell me the interest rate you have on your credit cards.
Yeah.
And how about approaching the 30% mark?
It's crazy.
30%.
It's really insurmountable.
It's incredible. This thing is going to, we surpassed $1 trillion in credit card debt a couple weeks ago. The report came out. Over $1 trillion. Can you imagine paying 30% interest on $1 trillion? And that's where we're at right now. So that we have a lot of customers saying, hey, I have 4% or 3.5% on my first mortgage. I have now $100,000 in credit card debt at 20, 30%, and it's going up as the Federal Reserve keeps raising those rates. It's going to continue to rise. What do I do? My credit score is dropping, my debt's increasing, and so we're finding families that are struggling, and we have to combine those amounts and refinance and give them, yes, they're going to get a rate in the 7s, but it's better to have a rate in the 7s than 30% that's up there. So
we're speaking here with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. You can always reach him at 314-324-4440. That's the phone he has right here in the room with him right now. You get a direct line to Stewie here through the Annie Frey Show, 314-324-4440. You can text him as well. I think that I'm glad you brought up that example, because I think that people who have that kind of credit card debt might feel shame. They're embarrassed. They don't know what to do. I think it's important to face that problem head on and look it straight in the face and go, well, the first thing I need to do is do something about it.
Well, I mean, that's the stress of life. People, and we talk of that all the time, don't procrastinate. It's okay, but don't wait till you're at a point where you're ready to break. You know, this affects people's family life, their marriages, their quality of life overall. People say, oh, I got a great rate on my first. I don't want to mess with these credit cards. You got to be smart. Rates will come down later. You'll refinance it later. Take care of it now. Get yourself in a better cash flow position and be set up for the refinance in the future. If you don't do that, you may drown before you have an opportunity to refinance, and then it's too late.
Yeah, I have done 2 refinances with the bagel loan as rates continued to go down previously. And I don't know, were they like a year and a half apart or 2 years apart?
I think we did 6-7 months apart, actually, maybe. One of them.
It wasn't that close, but it was, I think, well, maybe, because I did one during COVID, and I feel like it was a year later because rates continued to go down. And then the second time, equity in the houses, their house prices are going through the roof. We replaced a deck on our house, and we used the equity to reinvest in our house. And with the bagel loan, it didn't cost us to do anything, and we were able to get a lower rate. I wonder how many people who are shopping for houses, like mortgages, not refinances right now, understand the importance. You're trying to make sure you make the right offer, that you offer something on a payment that you can afford. But those closing costs, when you go into the highest, cost loan you're probably ever going to have, and then you top those closing costs on, that can be very punitive to the process.
Well, there's a couple of things that we do differently than any other lender that's out there that's going to give you the edge when you're making an offer on a house. Number one, the bagel loan, no closing costs. So if there's $4,000 or $5,000 you don't have to pay, you can add that to the bid, offer that to the seller. You're going to beat out the other offers. You're going to win the house. Doesn't cost you a dime more. So that's an easy one to remember. The second thing that we do is we can close your loan in as quick as 10 days. So if you go over to a seller and they're concerned about, hey, is this still going to go through? And most of the mortgage companies take 3 weeks to even get your loan approved. You can close in 10 days. I'm going to go ahead and give you a shot. And if you don't close it in 10 days, I can put that house back on the market and not have to worry about too much time passing. So that's a big edge, a big advantage that you're going to have. The third thing is we give you the power to make your own pre-approval letter. So you can go in our system. You don't have to chase the loan officer to actually get the pre-approval. Your real estate agent can generate their own pre-approval letter. And this gives you the flexibility of offering your contract, your offer, without having to chase the loan officer. Where's my stuff? How do I get my stuff? So speed, extra money for your purchase, that's going to attract the seller's attention, get it done quickly. And of course, there is the fact that we've been around in St. Louis for almost 35, 40 years.
Yeah.
So people know us, and that's credibility. Sellers don't like to deal with institutions that
It's
are
too big
across
of a,
the world.
It's too big of a deal.
Yeah, they want somebody local. That's not
Yes.
Not to mention that Fitch and Moody's may be downgrading some of these big banks to begin with, but you can never get a hold of somebody there after 5 o'clock regardless. So they like local people who have good reputations that can do it a speedily way, and here you go, less money with the big loan.
We're just talking with Stuart's American Mortgage, my friend Stewie in here. If you would like to contact him directly, you can call or text 314-324-4440. To brag on Stewie here for a second, you are what, the second highest lender in the country?
Yeah, I just got that rating. I didn't know you were going to bring that up. So.
Of course I'm going to bring it up because it's a testament to people who trust you, because you can tell when you're going to business with someone, you can tell like, this is not where I want to be. And people aren't going to complete that process with you if when they're working with you, they decide to bail. People listen to me and they say this to me in normal life when I'm out at a kids event or something like, so the bagel loan, where do they roll the closing costs in? I'm like, no, there are no closing costs. He will ad nauseum explain to you in detail how it works if you want to understand it, because he did it for me multiple times. But you've been very successful that way. You got to ring the bell on the stock exchange.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Who does that?
That was the closing bell. Ding, ding, ding. We got on there. My rating in the country is number 2 in the country for an individual. So I do the most amount of volume as a loan officer, number 2 in the entire country. Number 1 in Missouri.
Yeah.
So that's great. Number 1 in Illinois, but number 2 in the country. We'll make number 1 here shortly. But number 2 as of now, so it's nice to know. But, doing it for 35, 40 years, you deal only with us. We don't have commission loan officers. You want to deal with the expert. It's the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. I mean, how do you not get a second opinion? You speak to your realtor. Realtor says, hey, go to my lender.
Sure.
They go to my lender, and it's, this is what it is. And you're almost afraid to ask because you don't want to offend the real estate agent. You don't want to offend the process. But this is your money.
It's your money.
It's your money.
Right.
So get a second opinion. See if it's a better deal. I just did one for a customer that went to their realtor. They went over to the lender that the realtor had recommended. They said, hey, I want you to know I'm comparing you to Stewie with the bagel loan. And the guy said, don't even bother. I can't give you a number that's going to beat what they got.
Nice.
Just go with them. I understand. It's okay with us.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So we have the best rates. We have the best terms overall, but you need to do your shopping. If you don't know how to compare because the paperwork is so confusing, just call me. I'll tell you, look at 2 or 3 numbers, and then I'll tell the whole story. So it's very easy to compare and understand which is the biggest one or the better deal for you to go overall. And then you have the trust factor.
Yeah.
These people are going to be gone tomorrow, especially in the industry we're in. Do you want to deal with somebody that's been around for 30 plus years and it's going to be there tomorrow, or somebody that's going to work and say, hey, the industry is poor. I got to go sell cars now. So what do you want to do?
Well, not everybody listening right now is looking for a new mortgage or a mortgage refinance, but everybody listening right now is paying attention to the economy. And they might know in their mind, in 12 months, 18 months, I'm probably going to be moving or relocating or downsizing, or we're having a kid and we need to get a bigger home. What are you looking at in the economy as it is right now? Because I think a lot of people have a lot of questions. What are your concerns? I don't know if you want to make predictions, but what are your concerns about maybe the next 6 months, 12 months into that 18-month range, which includes an election?
Well, I am a fan of history. Okay, so from an economic standpoint, I do that the Federal Reserve's actions and the claims that the government have really done the primary thing of bringing inflation down. Yes, it may have facilitated it, maybe made it a little quicker, but let's look back 100 years at the Spanish flu back in the 1919 range, okay? Right after the Spanish flu, inflation was over 21%. The year after that, it dropped back to negative 16%. So I'm a fan of leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Let the supply chains pick up on its own. Give incentives for
I don't know if that's
manufacturers.
what big government likes to do.
They don't like
they
it
like
because
to get their hands all over it, don't
there's
they?
no incentive for government to be efficient or profitable or overall. They're government. They want power. They want to do the things they want to do, and they want to control the decisions we make because they feel we can't make good decisions. So overall, my personal perspective, and maybe I'm putting my foot in my mouth there, is yes, you do have to have regulations, and you want to make sure that we don't do things inappropriately to each other, but that should be very limited and allow the markets to go ahead, which is what this country was based on. Allow the markets to go ahead and compete with themselves. You'll find that if people do things right and they produce the things they need to produce, the prices will automatically go down and we'll be in much better shape.
Well, Stewie, we're grateful for you. We know that you were watching this professionally on a daily basis, and I always appreciate you answering my stupidly worded text messages about the economy. you keep me on the straight and narrow on those. So if you're looking for a mortgage, or if that conversation about a refinance piqued your interest because you do have a mounting debt. I mean, there's so many things that can cause that to happen. You can have medical issues, things break down in your house, unexpected expenses. And if you find yourself in an untenable situation, just have the conversation with Stewie. Stewie, you've told me before, no, you don't want to do this. That's not what's best for you. And I'm like, okay, well, I asked. You're honest, and I appreciate you being honest with me and also with the Andy Frey Show listeners. I love sending them your way.
Thank you very much.
All right. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440 and just ask the question if you've got one about your personal situation. He will guide you in the correct way. You can Google the bagel loan or call or text him at 314-324-4440. It's Stewart's American Mortgage. And when we come back, we'll get Ryan Wiggins back in the studio. Good thanks to my friend Stewie. If you didn't hear the whole interview, you can go back to the beginning of it by rewinding on the Odyssey app. We'll be back in a minute.
I gotta rewire this brain, 'cause I can't even go on the internet.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I tell myself, draw the line.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyhomes.com.
What's wrong with Rick? He's kind of spacey today.
That's Rick's identical twin, Scott. He's not used to answering to Rick.
What's going on?
Rick asked me to keep it secret, but he asked his twin to cover his shift so he could go to Diamonds Direct to shop.
But this is a jewelry store.
Yeah, I know, but the prices and selection are so much better at Diamonds Direct. Rick doesn't want the boss to get suspicious, so Scott's here in case the boss sees Rick at Diamonds Direct.
But that would mean that the boss is at Diamonds Direct too?
Yeah, we have a lot of secrets.
You never know who you'll run into at Diamonds Direct. With unbeatable direct importer prices, the highest quality diamonds, the most sought-after designer rings, the best customer service, the strongest guarantees in the industry. It's just a no-brainer.
You think if Scott had a mustache, would he look like me?
No.
Go where everyone else goes. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Well, what if I shaved?
Still no.
For store hours, directions, and more, go to diamondsdirect.com.
Imagine what your backyard could look like once my friends from Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been there. Mark Cox here. Listen, mention my name, mention Mark, and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been around for 55 years. They are one of St. Louis' top names in home improvements with a commitment to quality and professionalism. And you know that you have their sign in your yard. It's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 55 years. They will come to your house, give you a free estimate at no obligation, free project design as well. They'll take measurements. They'll show you all of their product offerings right there at your house, or you can go to their showroom if you need that extra inspiration. But they do fences, they do decks, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Take advantage of it. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go online today and check him out at chesterfieldfence.com.
So when you reach out to Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group and you ask him how he is going to help you make sure that a worry-free retirement exists for you, you're going to be pretty pleased with what he has to say. He knows what he's doing, and he specializes in those individuals who are real close to that retirement age. It's a different position to be in than somebody who's my age, and I still got a minimum of a few decades left to work. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw will sit down and give you a plan, and it's a no-cost, no obligation review of your retirement. When you reach out to them and you can go to retirementkey.com to schedule this appointment, you will quickly understand how many 97.1 listeners, how many Annie Frey Show listeners have said, all right, I'll sit down, I'll listen to what you have to say. And they go, yeah, this makes a ton of sense for me, and I'm excited to get started with it. It's Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, and they are excited to meet you. Call them at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Online at retirementkey.com.
This is Kim St. Ange with the Mark Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk. I can see clearly now thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra with Ophthalmology Associates, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000. The poll for the YouTube Today Annie Frey YouTube poll is, how do you politically identify as either MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other? Let us know which one you identify with the most, the Annie Frey YouTube poll of the day. The time is 1:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, guess what? You can also win free Cardinals tickets right now because it's time to call. Hey! Win a pair of Cardinals tickets for Military Appreciation Night at the ballpark this Friday by calling now and being the 9th caller. Here's your phone number, 314-241-9797. One more time, that's 314-241-9797. Be the 9th caller. You'll talk to Hannah.
Conservative solutions, objective conclusions. For news and opinion, this is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
AC/DC, right?
Yeah, you got it again. You're so good at this.
My favorite band.
Yeah.
I love AC/DC together.
Yeah. Anytime Guns N' Roses plays, you're always right on it.
This isn't Guns N' Roses.
Oh, I tried to mess you back up. You're right. It is AC/DC.
Mm-hmm. This is with Sammy Hagar, right?
Yeah, that's Van Hagar.
Is it?
I'm going to say yes to anything you say.
It's okay. I'm making it all up as I go.
No.
I did have to
You
Google.
know that it's not, right?
I had to Google the song to find out who it was to make sure that the one I said was actually wrong.
You
I
don't know enough bands.
I did not know who it was.
Who is a rock and roll band?
No, I knew it was
that
Running with the Devil. So I Googled Running With, and then it said The Devil.
Ah.
Song by Van Halen.
You're right. It is Van Halen.
So I went AC/DC.
Okay. I see what you did.
Everybody get your cars back on the road and stop swearing.
People get mad. People get mad when you do
I'm going to play 90s boy bands for you and see if you know them as well as I do, and then we'll just sit there and gleefully judge each other.
I know 90s boy bands well enough. I was in one, so. You know this. I was the bad boy.
You're the bad boy?
Yeah.
In Menudo?
No, not Menudo. We were on the heels of 98 Degrees.
97.1 degrees.
No. We actually, our catchphrase was, we're taking
6,000 subscribers. Ryan Wiggins makes a 97.1 degrees music video.
Ooh.
That would be amazing.
It sounds not just hot, but right on the mark as far as the temperature that you want
I can't wait to see with frosted tips.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe what we'll do is we'll just release one of my old music videos from my boy band, which was called 103 Degrees, because we were billed as hotter than 98 degrees at the time. We did not succeed, but we did have a couple of
You're doing the voice.
What?
Your BS voice.
Well, I got
it is. People who listen to this show long enough know when you dial up the bologna sausage voice that everything else that comes out, even Wiggins doesn't know what's going to happen next. It's all in real time.
You're right.
Yes,
yeah,
I am.
I don't know what's happening as it happens.
Yeah, if you're watching on the stream, you can see him be surprised by what's coming out of his mouth as it's coming out of his mouth.
He's got his eyebrow raised too, like you guys are gonna love what's about to happen here. I can't wait to hear what it's gonna be. That's how we know that we have entered into the Twilight Zone with Ryan Wiggins.
Well, I'll start wearing a mask from now on, not only over my mouth but over my eyebrows, so that you can't tell.
What kind of mask? Like a COVID mask?
Yeah, COVID mask.
Just pull it over your head.
Yeah, not a ski mask. That would be normal.
Where you cover up everything but your mouth.
Yeah.
And your eyes.
Cover up just my
I
nose.
can still see the parts that
my
matter.
eyebrows. Yeah, and I'm gonna breathe through my mouth. And
How was your chai that I bought you today?
gone. What does that tell you? Pretty dang good is the answer.
Because you ate it, drank it.
I did. I ate that chai.
Did you eat the ice?
No, I don't do that.
What's Hannah doing in here?
You've trained me to not do that. What are you doing in
You
here?
speak of yourself like you're a dog.
Sorry,
That's
I
not
just
true.
had to come in here. So we have a winner for the Cardinals tickets.
Yay!
His name is Tim.
Hi, Tim.
From St. Charles, but he shared a funny story with me that I just had to
Oh, boy.
share on air. So you guys were talking earlier about Elvis and how today was the day that he passed away, however many years ago.
I don't think that I said that.
I don't either.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't because I didn't know that.
Maybe it came up. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Tim
Of course we
wanted
shared that.
to
It was
say
full effect.
that he was one of the 4 people to bring Elvis to the hospital when he passed away. He was
What?
working. That's what he said.
Wait, the actual Elvis?
Yes.
He
No.
brought Elvis to
Elvis
the hospital.
Johnson from St. Charles.
Where was that?
He said Baptist Hospital, like he gave a hospital name and everything.
It is today.
We didn't say that or know that.
No, we didn't know that at all.
How did you do that when you picked the music on purpose?
No. I mean, yeah, totally.
Let's pretend that we know what we're
bask in
doing.
our accidental brilliance.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. This guy. So was he on the toilet? Is that true?
I didn't ask him details over the corpse.
Oh
but
man, now I want to know about
Time
Elvis's
out.
corpse.
Did you know that Elvis died in the toilet? Had a heart
I
attack on the
did.
toilet?
I did
Okay.
know that.
Do you know the Pee Wee Herman dance?
I do now.
Were you impressed? So Hannah, we played tequila yesterday on the show, and Ryan naturally couldn't help himself. He was dancing, and then he went into the Pee Wee Herman dance. And you didn't know what the Pee Wee Herman dance was yesterday.
Nope, I thought it was the jive.
So you went around the building and asked people
Yes.
if they knew it.
Uh-huh.
How'd that go?
It was pretty interesting. Everybody thought I was crazy for not knowing. There was only 2 people that I asked who didn't know what the dance was. Everybody else did it like instantly. They're like, of course the Pee Wee Herman dance. A lot of people were talking about the shoes. They're like, well, I'll do the dance, but I don't know the shoes.
Big white platform, patent leather shoes. And then you also have something else up. Did we put it up yet?
Yeah, it's up. Today, Annie bought Ryan a Scooter's coffee. Delicious, of course.
Can I read to you the text message? Give me one more minute here. Can I read to you the text message that I got this morning from Ryan?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
I'm
going to say no. I'm going to go with no.
I am reading it out loud. 10:05 a.m. I've got $6 and a huge winning smile if you bring me Scooter's iced chai today.
And you know what? I still haven't paid you for that.
You don't have to pay me for it.
But I know
My
that you
treat.
go to Scooters pretty much every day, so I thought it's not going to be out of your way.
I do not.
You're holding one.
I am. This is the one I got
She
today.
does go to Scooter's every
See?
day.
So I thought you're going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
So
But
it shouldn't be a problem.
I posted a video on our Annie Fry Show Instagram at the Annie Fry Show.
I wasn't just going to give you a coffee.
Clearly. Yeah. I had to work for it.
Annie hid the coffee very well.
I was in plain sight.
And I recorded Ryan running around the office trying to find it. It's pretty entertaining.
I was walking through the main area here, and I hear Ryan Wiggins in the mailroom talking to someone else. Hey, is there any coffee in here? And she was like, no.
I like what you did with the video because I don't think I really said anything funny in that whole video. I just wanted the coffee. I just wanted to drink the coffee.
You were pretty determined, but he really did almost walk into the boss's meeting to ask.
I wondered if you were going to go into the powers that be meeting and be like, I need my coffee.
It was going on. I almost walked in. Hannah kind of gave me an eyebrow like, no, it's not in there.
I was like, come on.
I was like, oh, okay.
Hannah.
Because I would have.
I should have told you it was.
Yeah, because I would have believed you.
I missed an opportunity.
And I would have walked in and said,
I would've
okay,
gone- I would've
everybody,
gone,
I'm here.
It's under Steve's chair. Just go look for it under his chair.
Brian goes in there and throws him off his chair.
Want my coffee?
It's not as if there's like a curtain. You can see under the chair. I wouldn't crawl under it.
What's the Ryan Wiggins Scooter's order?
Iced chai.
Iced chai.
Easy.
Easy.
And you still said, I don't know how it's going to be hard.
I'm glad you enjoyed your coffee. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com, or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I think because I have a friend who's a dentist, I started using my sleep apnea mouth guard much earlier than most people do. I started in my 30s, and man, I will never not use that thing. I take it with me on vacation because if I fall asleep, even for 20 minutes, it's a worthless nap if I'm not wearing it, because I fall into REM sleep so easily and quickly that I really need sleep less than I used to. So see my friend, Dr. Ty Parker, Fountains Family Dentistry, just knowing him and having conversations with him is what made me seek this out. It may be something that's very foreign to you, but it's actually the easiest thing in the world. People are going to all say, well, use a CPAP, use a CPAP. I think they're called APAPs now too. But these can actually replace those in many instances, and they'll let you know whether that's right for you. You go to fountainsfamilydentistry.com, and they will allow you there to make an appointment, or you can give them a call. Appointments are easy to make with them. So I suggest you do that. Get that on the calendar and just ask if it could be right for you, because your sleep is worth it. fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new ruling on an abortion drug. Lisa Brady, Fox News. An appeals court decision just in restricts access to the abortion pill mifepristone, partially upholding a lower court ruling that suspended the drug's approval from more than 20 years ago. However, for now, the pill's availability remains unchanged following an emergency order from the U.S. Supreme Court, preserving the status quo as the legal fight continues. The federal government surging resources to wildfire-ravaged Maui.
To date, we have mobilized millions of liters of water and food. We have deployed more than 700 personnel to the disaster, with more than 600 already on the island.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says they will provide what's needed for as long as it takes, adding recovery will be long and difficult. President Biden plans to visit Maui.
The president and the first lady will be traveling to Hawaii on Monday to meet with first responders, survivors, as well as federal, state, and local officials.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre, the wildfires are now blamed for more than 100 deaths. Hundreds more remain missing. Today, the president's focused on the one-year anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act, which senior advisor John Podesta says is tackling the climate crisis.
The largest investment in clean energy and climate action ever in the United States, in the history of the world.
Podesta also insisting the bill has reduced some costs for families, though recent estimates say the bill itself could cost much more than first expected. A former fundraiser for Congressman George Santos is indicted on federal charges. Sam Mealy accused of impersonating a high-ranking congressional aide in a scheme to defraud Santos campaign donors. Santos, a freshman New York Republican, is not charged, but has pleaded not guilty in a separate case. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart.
Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Shooing seagulls away from our beach snacks is easy, but keeping my frequent heartburn away, that was a full-time job. I had to chew up to 10 antacids a day to manage it. Then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just 1 pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Thanks to Prilosec OTC, now my heartburn's on vacation too.
Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply enjoy this kind of weather in the middle of August. Temperatures this afternoon, 82 degrees, lots of sunshine, comfortable humidity. Tonight, clear and pleasant, 62 for the overnight low. Thursday, sunny, beautiful morning, a little bit warmer Thursday afternoon, 88. 59 Thursday night and Friday 82. Summer comes back over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or 0 interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long. And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
And now, try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We were talking about Bidenomics with Stewie in the last segment, and if you ask President Biden, he thinks that things are going really well right now.
Today is not hyper. We have the strongest economy in the world. And you're looking at me a little skeptical, but I promise you, check it out. The strongest economy in the world.
He says it like 4 times, and that was a 10-second clip.
Well, when
really
the
banking on
teleprompter
it.
gets stuck, that's what you do.
It's one of those things. What do you like? What problems are out there that need to be solved? We can all look, and no matter where you are on the one side of the aisle or the other, we can often identify the same problems that need to be solved. And then we will disagree on how to solve the problem, create a government program, or get the government out of the way. Those are usually the differences in the way the parties go. But you have to persuade somebody to understand my solution to this problem, said problem, fill in the blank here, is better than theirs, which is why you should elect me to implement this problem. It's a lot harder to be like, everything is fine. This is fine. And get people to go, yeah, okay. You're totally right. I mean, listening to Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage talking about people who need to get rid of credit card debt, I understand that. I understand how credit card debt can mount up, and then you charge something, you pay it off every month, and then all of a sudden the months get a little tighter, and the pay periods get a little longer, and the month stretches out a little bit more, and before you realize it, your 16% inflation on your grocery bill, your 20% inflation, or 16% overall, 20% on groceries, you realize I don't have the money to live the way I was living before, and I haven't changed any of my habits. The world has just changed around me. And if especially a politician comes on the scene and goes, it's fine, I think that makes a lot more people go, it's not fine.
Yeah, him simply drawing attention to it is maybe not the best thing to do, because that is what he's doing. He's trying to. What's weird is that whenever he talks about Bidenomics or tries to tout the Biden economy in any way whatsoever, I don't really hear the message that he's trying to convey, good or bad. What I hear is, you really don't have anything else to talk about, do you?
Or you really desperately need us to talk about something else.
Yeah, that too.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bidens are saying, I don't even care if they're criticizing Bidenomics. I'd rather them be talking about it.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And if you want to try to squeeze in a 60-minute newscast and they're going to cover, let's just say, a dozen stories, and on Fox News, 6 of those stories are going to be somehow related to Biden corruption, let's make it 4 of those stories are related to Biden corruption, and 2 of them are arguments against Bidenomics.
Yeah, that's what's so sad.
You might make that a win.
About, I think, some of these Trump indictments, maybe all of these Trump indictments, the goal or a goal of them is to drive the news cycle so that left-leaning news has something else to talk about other than Joe Biden, because when they are left to talk about Joe Biden, they don't really have anything to talk about. There's nothing, even in left media, there's nothing for them to spin positively enough that's going to convince anybody that he's doing anything right.
Like you hear, it's the jobs market, or infrastructure bill.
Isn't that weird when you hear that?
Yeah.
You go, the infrastructure bill, that's your crowning achievement, that you spent more money during high inflation times?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. It's really surprising that the average American, I think, the trust in the media is so far down from what it ever has been. And it's got to be because of things like that, because they know that the media just runs cover now and they don't actually investigate or run stories.
I mean, has Biden ever actually run for anything on his accomplishments? Like, for real, isn't his catchphrase is, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative?
Yeah, deep cut.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So his whole thing, his whole shtick is, I'm not that guy. That's everything that he is.
Still could be a winning shtick.
Well, absolutely, depending on who that guy is whenever he's running against him. But like,
I feel like it's that former guy.
Yeah. But I mean, if you stop and think about it, if people are really looking and they're feeling the pain at the pump or they're feeling the pain at the grocery store, their credit card bills are going up, they're behind on their utility payments, everything around them is more expensive. At some point, he's going to wear that, you would think.
Matt says on the Anti-Fry YouTube channel, Ryan, the goal of the indictments are to jail the criminals who attempted a coup.
Oh. Thank God for the YouTube live chat. I thought this was like a political gamesmanship that was going on, but it is not.
Silly Ryan.
It's just that simple. Okay.
Come to the YouTube and educate us.
Thank
people.
you. Yeah, please let us know on the YouTube live chat poll what we're getting wrong, specifically me. I love that.
Well, Donald Trump, yeah. Well, Donald Trump is pushing back against the indictments. He has to. He doesn't have any choice. I've said this before. I'd like to see him talk about policies that affect me. And if you listen to Mike Davis, who joined us by video as well on the Anti-Fry YouTube today, it was exciting to have him there. Mike Davis is saying, he said that the Republic is at stake. That's not minor.
You know what's amazing is that I was coming in today and thinking about, you had Greg Jarrett on yesterday. I think he was on Kilmeade this morning too. And he was talking about these indictments. And what's amazing is, especially with the second one, the documents one, you said, he has to push back on these things. Of course he does. But when he pushes back, when he resists the ongoing constant investigations, then they go, we got you on obstruction now. Like there's nothing you can do. If he just goes along with it, then he's weak.
Defending yourself, huh?
Oh yeah. You're coming
You're supposed
back
to let us railroad you.
Now we got you on obstruction. You can't do anything. It is a losing situation. He is being set up in every corner of American society and our government to lose in every way possible. So if this guy ends up winning an election in 2024, it's going to be a miracle.
I heard something interesting this morning. Since the Georgia case is a state case, it's brought by state, the president has no pardoning power in a state case. And in Georgia, the governor can't pardon because they have a pardoning board that would have to bring this up and do it. So very real.
Did Greg Jarrett say that on the show?
Did he?
I think that's what he said yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's where I grabbed it. I don't remember where
Brad is doing a million things. At one time
there's
at
a
any given
lot
point. But
of
he did
audio
say
running
that
through my brain.
Yeah.
But the thing is like you could literally have Donald Trump win the election, be convicted in Georgia, and be in prison and be president.
Isn't that what they're trying to do?
Wait a second. Then everybody's happy. I think this is 6D chess.
Wait.
Wait a second.
Let's go 70.
This is it.
Let's go 70 chess.
He can wear orange.
Ooh, orange man.
Bad. President.
Okay.
Yeah. Biden for prison. Biden for America.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Biden
hang on.
can go to the home.
Follow him here. Because
Okay.
I'm not just going 70. I'm going 8D chess now.
Mm-hmm.
If
rapidly accelerating into ludicrous speed.
If Donald Trump simply decides to, let's say he's president.
He's president.
Okay, thank you. Let's say that he is president and he decides to just not go to Georgia at all. They don't have any jurisdiction outside of Georgia, right? Like if he just doesn't go to Georgia.
Are you asking us legal experts?
Yeah. I'm asking. Well, Brad was quoting Greg Jarrett, so I figured he would know.
I haven't heard anything on this
he was quoting Greg Jarrett, who was on our show and said that. And Brad didn't know.
Yeah.
You heard? What did he say? The same. He said the same thing with Kill Me today.
Probably, yeah.
Because I saw other people dunking on Governor Kemp, saying Kemp needs to pardon Trump, and I thought, oh, this is getting saucy. And then Greg Jarrett was like, Poop, put a pin in that balloon, diffused, and I was like, oh, okay. So then what? Is there? It's unpardonable. It's just like student loan debt in bankruptcy. It just never goes away.
Well, the question would be, can he still win the state as a criminal? I think the answer to that is yes.
We should get a lawyer to sponsor a segment where we just ask questions.
Yeah.
We'll call it I am not a lawyer.
Yeah.
INAL. I am not a lawyer, but, and then we'll just ask questions that we don't have answers
But it's got to
to.
be the craziest legal theories possible.
These are them.
I didn't
they.
say it.
These are they.
They're
Sorry, Dad.
actually happening. I mean, we've all been like schooled in law over the last few years. The stuff that we would have never known.
They're trying to put him in prison under the craziest legal theories.
But the people who are doing that, you ask the other legal experts, and they say that they don't know what they're doing, that they're the crazy ones.
Yes.
So it seems like it's all about whoever's in power in the end, except for Donald Trump in Georgia.
Yes. I just think it would be amazing to see.
Let's get the parties together to meet somewhere in the middle. Where is the middle? Where's the geographical, political middle of this country?
I think it's probably Kansas City.
What about Wichita?
Wichita.
What about Wichita, Kansas?
Okay.
You bring the groups together in Wichita. We'll call it the Wichita Accords.
Sounds good.
And then
Wichita Carta.
And then we say, here's
Magna.
what we're willing to do. We're willing to let Trump go to prison. And here's what we need from you. He's still the president. And we see what happens.
No. I wouldn't agree to that.
3 hots and a cut.
If I'm at the Wichita Accords and I'm there speaking on behalf of myself or others, I'm not agreeing to that. What I'm agreeing to is, yes, you can make him a criminal in Georgia. He's still the president.
But
He's
you
in
gotta
Washington,
find him.
D.C. He just won't go to Georgia.
And it'll be
'Cause
like a
if
game.
he shows up, then they're going to arrest him and put him in prison.
He has to go to Georgia one day a year. But
And be in prison?
No. He just has to grace Georgia one day a year. And if you get him, you get him.
Ooh, I
But if
kind of
you-
like that.
But if you don't,
It's like the most dangerous game, except they're not killing him.
I hope not.
They got to hunt him down.
That's the deal. He goes to Georgia one day a year.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to give anybody forewarning. He's still a president from jail.
I'm going to run that by a legal expert.
Okay.
See what they say.
And somebody get Wichita on the phone.
Is this in the Constitution?
Does it matter?
Not anymore.
Does it even matter?
No. No, it does. Well, we'd have to get
See,
a Georgian Constitution expert, too.
Tina says on YouTube she's up for it. I love the win-win outlook, Annie. I mean, if he's going to go to prison, he might as well be president anyway.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it'd be good reality TV. I bet he would agree to it.
He could produce it.
Yes. only on Truth Social you can watch it. The dude's made another $1 billion right there.
We are deal makers. This is the art of the deal right here in the Annie Frey
It's
Show.
happening right
Run
here.
It by everybody involved. Start in Wichita.
KFTK Wichita.
I think we have stations there.
I'm pretty
Actually,
sure we do.
I'm going to ask everyone a favor. Do not talk to Wichita about
Don't
this.
tell them that we
Don't
did
tell
this,
them
please.
this. Oh.
We'll get in trouble.
I don't know where we would go next from here, but maybe the YouTube live chat poll, get a couple comments, and I'm going to find something fun to talk about. Oh, yeah.
I know what it is.
The thing that I read
Yeah,
about you guys?
It's good stuff.
Obsessive things that we think about reordering or repurchasing or re-experiencing, like on a small scale. I have something that I can't get out of my mind. I count down time based on between now and the next time I get to eat this thing.
Oh, that's pretty extreme.
It is. It's actually a problem, but I'll probably get it again today.
Okay.
And it's not my Scooter's super skinny latte.
No, and you wouldn't tell me what it is, so
No. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the next segment, too.
I don't know who's like on the edge of their seat for this, but we'll see. Don't go away. Back in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Ruler Foods is the way to shop simple, smart, and fresh. And when you go to rulerfoods.com, you're going to find the one that's the closest to you so you can save with every single shopping trip when you go to the grocery store. They have really, really great opportunities for you to save on specific things that you can look up online. It's a 10 for $10 savings. When you go to Ruler Foods, you're going to save on Hunt's pasta sauce or Kroger pasta, 10 for 10. Michelina's dinners, 10 for 10. Armour lunch makers, 10 for 10. Kroger microwavable pizzas, also 10 for 10. I appreciate people who are like, hey, I heard you talking about this. How do I find the one closest to me? You go to rulerfoods.com and you will quickly see for yourself how fast you are going to save on your everyday grocery purchases. Going to rulerfoods.com will also show you the promotional items that they have where you can save extra shopping at Ruler Foods. Make the smart choice for yourself, for your family, for your budget as everything is getting a little tighter. Save money by shopping at Ruler Foods. Find them online at rulerfoods.com.
Ah, summer. Time to head to the pool, hit the links, and enjoy some Cardinals baseball.
And this one is going to leave the yard. A home run for Goldie. Oh, did he crush it?
With the free Odyssey app, you can stream every Cardinals game on News Radio 1120 KMOX, no matter what you're doing this summer.
Safe. A double steal for O'Neill and Walker.
Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
There are many ways to listen. Most choose radio. But have you tried streaming? Download the Odyssey app and you can stream 97.1 with one touch. Or try it touchless by telling your smart speaker to play it.
I hear a lot about sinners. Don't think that I'll be a
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
'Cause the way that the sky opens up when we touch it, it's making me say that the way you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me.
This is a nice palate cleanser.
Just clear the air.
Oops. I might have to redo that one.
You know what, though? The nice thing is that I think that is a word that is new enough that the FCC doesn't care about it.
I don't think it's an illegal word.
That's what I mean. So I'm saying it's a good one.
I made a mistake. My apologies for it, specifically to Ruler Foods.
You should apologize to everybody in the room.
So this is an instance where if you're watching the YouTube live, I'm talking about Ruler Foods, and I decided to take the words simple, smart, and fresh, and I thought, what would it sound like if you combine all those words into one?
Dude.
And I said shart. And
you
didn't
did.
mean to.
And it was clear. It wasn't like when I mumble through a word. It was like, it was just shart.
But then what happens next is, if you were watching, you could see there was a moment when I went, holy crap.
I could see that you knew it. I couldn't hold it.
And I decided to myself, am I going to finish this live like a professional? Or am I going to fall apart like I would do if Ryan had just made this mistake? And I said, you know what? I'm going to finish this live. And then I did. And then we lost it.
I was literally on the floor outside the store because I was like, if she's trying to power through this thing, I can't start laughing as loudly as I want to. Yeah, you're right, Hannah. I fell outside the door. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I mean, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was trying to hold it in for so long. Try to hold in that laughter at that shart.
Just trying to hold it in.
I was trying
For
to
the
hold it in.
record, I only said the word.
Well, we don't know that.
Yes, I think you do.
I've had 2 sinus surgeries. I can't tell anything. You guys can sneak a lot by me. Hey, a couple sharts among friends is fine. I don't care.
False. If you
Well, you know what?
If you shart in my presence, our friendship will be on the chopping block for consideration.
I'll agree with that, because if it was just a fart, it'd be like, you know what, whatever. But if you shart around your friends, that's going to change the relationship a little bit. I would say actually farting is probably a different level of friendship as well.
We're not those kinds of friends.
Me
Just
and
in
Hannah
case it
are.
wasn't
I walked outside that door and I just let it go. You know what I did? True, and you can see this maybe on the cameras.
This is pretty much just your segment, so go ahead.
No, it's not. This is all about you. I turned my back to the camera because I had
my head down. I lowered my head so I couldn't even see what you guys were doing, because I chose to be a pro.
And I chose friendship overall.
Did you?
Because what I did was I turned and I acted like I was on my phone, even though I had nothing to look at, I was just shaking.
But the back of your head was red.
And then I was like, I can't take it. And so I acted like I had gotten a phone call. And I put my phone up to my ear and I walked out. Just in case you looked at me, you'd think, oh, he's not laughing, so he had to leave. He had to leave because he had a phone call, but it was all a lie. It was all just so that you could get through that 60 seconds.
I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, because you were bare. I didn't want to look over at you because I thought if I did, it was over.
I had to be. I was making active consecutive decisions while I was talking about how much you can save at Ruler Foods, which you can, by the way. Simple, smart, fresh. That's what I meant to say. Not shart. I said what I said and I didn't mean it. I made a mistake.
It's funny because it's in an endorsement. If it were just us talking about like this, it's just whatever. I mean, shart's a funny word anyway, but to have it sneak into an endorsement about a client that sells food.
I just made a mistake. I apologize. I wish I would have muffled it into a different word. Like
that would have been worse.
Smirsh.
Like if you knew, it would have sounded like you knew you were going to say shart, and you're like, well, I better hide it.
I said that in that commercial. Like the word shart was in my copy points.
Yes, you did. You're like,
it isn't. Yeah. I screwed up.
It wasn't. It didn't sound like it was a mess up. All right. Back on track. Here we go. Let's talk about Biden.
How would we segue?
I don't know. The man is a mess of himself.
I'm gonna pick Ryan. Pick a number 1 through 20.
20. That was a bad pick.
Don't pick that one. Pick a number 1 through 18. We're gonna use this as a buffer.
17.
17. Oh, I actually do want to talk about this. So play this now.
I was just wondering, what were your opinions on the LGBTQ plus community?
Well, I don't think it's one community.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, how could it be? Just mashed together in alphabet soup. Trans is fundamentally in tension with gay, if you ask me. But what's your opinion?
I'm personally pansexual, so I was just wondering what your views on same-sex couples were.
I don't have a negative view of same-sex couples, but I do have a negative view of a tyranny of the minority. So I think that in the name of protecting against a tyranny of the majority, and there are times in this country's history where we have had a tyranny of the majority, we have now, in the name of protecting against tyranny of the majority, created a new tyranny of the minority.
Is Vivek making a ton of sense when he talks about this? Because the question was, how do you feel about, did they say same-sex couples?
Yes.
The original question was the LGBTQ community.
And he says, I don't have any problem with these people. And the way that Vivek Ramaswamy actually answers with a substantive response and makes a point. He doesn't just dodge what could possibly be the talking point that comes up from this. He has a point to make that is further than affirming or dismissing this individual's concerns. Because this person comes up, she says she's pansexual, and she basically is saying to Vivek, who wants to be the president of the United States, which means you're going to be the president for all the Democrats and all the Republicans. Yes, Donald Trump was your president. Yes, Joe Biden is your president, period, full stop. She says, I'm pansexual. How do you feel about these people? And what we don't do in conversation today is affirm that people exist and have differing opinions. What we do is immediately run to the corner and make sure that everybody understands that you have the right approved viewpoint on said thing to make sure you score the correct political points. Vivek has conversations.
And I think that that's wrong. I don't think that somebody who's religious should be forced to officiate a wedding that they disagree with. I don't think somebody who is a woman who's worked really hard for her achievements should be forced to compete against a biological man in a swim competition. I don't think that somebody who's a woman that respects her bodily autonomy and dignity should be forced to change clothes in a locker room with a man. That's not freedom, that's oppression. And so I believe that we live in a country where free adults should be free to dress how they want, behave how they want, and that's fine. But you don't become oppressive by foisting that on others. And that especially includes kids, because kids aren't the same as adults. And so I think adults are free to make whatever choices they want. But do not foist that ideology onto children before children are in a position as adults to make decisions for themselves.
It's a great point. I agree with everything he says there. I know there are people going to hear that and they're not going to agree with it. But the way he is speaking his perspective on this issue is respectful to the person who asked the question in the first place. It dignifies the person in the question instead of using that person and that question as an opportunity to, and the Ramaswamy camp has been asked, was this staged? Because it's millions and millions of views that this interaction has garnered. When Ramaswamy is talking about the tyranny of the minority, what he's talking about is the idea that you will be called, canceled, slandered, be referred to as a bigot or a racist or something-ophobe if you don't agree with today's approved narrative, which will change day to day. There will be new things tomorrow that if you want to make sure that you are in a saluted position to be in line with whatever the approved narrative of the capital T they want you to be approved, to be in agreement with, that will constantly change, and you will have to constantly prove that you agree with all of the correct things. This is how he wrapped up this conversation.
And so I think a lot of the frustration in the country, and if I'm being really honest, that I also share, comes from that new culture of oppression where saying those things can actually get somebody punished. And in my case, it's part of why it's my responsibility to say them. And I respect that you may have a different opinion, and that's okay. Part of what makes our country great is that you and I can be civil and have this conversation, and that we live in a country that still gives us, each of us, the right to speak to a presidential candidate back and still say that we pledge allegiance to the same nation. So I think that's the beauty of our country, and that's my honest opinion.
Awesome. Well,
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your civility as well. I appreciate it.
But more of this, please. I don't know that she didn't walk away and be like, you're so right, I'm not pansexual anymore. And she might walk away and be like, I completely disagree with all of that. You'll never earn my vote. But you had a conversation and you're basing those judgments on information that you were willing to exchange, not shouting that you cower from or have to put the gloves on to participate in that conversation. That, to me, is the charm that is bringing people close to Vivek Ramaswamy, the most obvious VP candidate for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I've seen the clip, and I can see the reason people say, well, this might be staged is because Vivek comes off looking like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And he handles it so well that you're like, dude, that is an amazing answer to a unscripted moment, what it looks like. I really would doubt that he would stage something like that. He calls out too many things like that for him to turn around and do it himself. Politicians are not above doing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he would do it because he called out even like the CPAC straw poll and stuff that you're not supposed to really touch. He'll touch it.
Vivek was approached by a woman who was pushing back on Vivek's pro-life viewpoints, and I couldn't tell you exactly what Vivek has said about life specifically. He's never said anything that is jarring my memory to think that it was notable away from what you would expect of a Republican candidate. But there was a woman who came in and was shouting at him at a campaign event. He was doing an appearance and people were asking questions, town hall-like thing, and she was shouting from the back at him. And people there kind of turned around and some people booed and, get her out of here or whatever. And he goes, no. Let her talk. And she shouted back at him, and she was talking about the importance for women to have the ability to choose what they do with their own body, and how, to me, it was so heart-wrenching. She was advocating for abortion rights. But what I saw from her is the pain that women experience when they're put in the position to be a political pawn in an argument that suggests that, yes, you are the gender that will bear the children. That is science, not the science. That is just science. You are the gender that bears the children. That puts a burden on women that men will never understand. It is, in my estimation, a superpower that women have. But you bear the burden of child labor and childbirth, which means that consequence-free sex that men can have, women cannot. That is the imbalanced equation that feminism tried to use abortion to solve. The idea that men can sleep with whomever they want to and opt out. Never show up again. Women do not have the ability to do that unless abortion is in place. But the pain, the agony that comes along with being the person who has to make that specific legal choice never leaves your memory. Therefore, should you choose to have said abortion, you do not get to have the same consequence-free sex that men do, but you have just empowered men to hand you $300 and say, go take care of it, and men get off even more scot-free. The disgusting lie that somehow or another abortion puts women in a position to live equally free lifestyles that men do, it actually empowers men even more. And yeah, people are hurt in the process. When this woman came onto the scene, she was advocating for women to have the right to their own body, to choose for themselves. And I understand where that perspective comes from because it is a huge burden. And Vivek said, no, let her talk. And when she left the room, she left because they had a conversation, and the conversation ended in a natural way. And you could tell she was hurting inside. And so many women who are advocating for abortion are hurting inside, and there is no win. If you win abortion rights, I'm looking at you, Illinois. If you win because Roe v. Wade was overturned and now it's a states' rights issue, there are now 50 state battlegrounds to fight this battle to save the lives of the unborn children. And women who are pregnant are caught in the middle of a political battle. Neither side often looks at those women and sits down and looks them in the eye in a way that respects where they are in that situation. They're pulled and tugged in each direction. And in the midst of that, whatever decision that they end up making is still burdensome on their lives. If you plan a pregnancy, get pregnant, have a healthy pregnancy, have the baby, Ryan, you know, as a father and as a man, children do dramatically affect the rest of your life. Some might call it a burden, but not necessarily like the positive outweigh the negative. But to suggest that they don't dramatically affect the way you will live the rest of your life would be ignorant to suggest.
Certainly.
We can't acknowledge that because we can't even acknowledge anymore that women are the one who have the babies. Everything is so upside down. Listening to Vivek stand there and talk to this woman and listen to her, and she listened to him. It's a two-way street. We had two adults having a conversation, which they probably ended up disagreeing on, but it seemed to me like there was a sense of mutual respect for the dignity of each individual in that conversation, and boy, we could use a lot more of that.
And you can't see this on the radio, but she was holding a sign and she had green hair. You know, she looked like she was a liberal activist. She just painted that picture. And he talked to her, and you heard most of that conversation just now. You almost got the sense that she had not heard a lot of that. It almost seems as if she came into this thinking she was going to get one answer. And then he very eloquently, like he always does, explains, here's my position. And here's the position, really, of probably the majority of conservative voters. And she walked away from that going, okay. I mean, she had nothing else to say. She wasn't yelling at him.
She didn't concede anything either.
She didn't. They had a talk.
Yeah, she wasn't there like, oh, he really owned me on that one. It wasn't like she withered away in that conversation. He made his point very well. Of course, I think so, because I agree with him.
But that's why people like him.
Yep.
He's really good at that. And that's another example. That clip is another example of that happening on the fly.
Yeah, he does it over and over and over again. I'm very, very interested to see what is in store for Vivek in his future and how it's going to affect voters like you and me. Let's take a quick break. I'll try not to screw up on this one. We'll be right back.
But the way that we love in the night gave me life.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Feel so holy, 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 holy. Oh God, run into the
Michael's Flooring Outlet, where you shop local for your flooring needs. Big projects, small projects, commercial projects, residential projects. Michael's Flooring Outlet helps you walk through this process with confidence so that at the end of the procedure, you know, you can walk in with an exact understanding of what you want, or like a photo from the internet that says, I really want to transform, here's my house, into this picture that's a really, really well light balanced photograph from Pinterest. And then they say, okay, well, here are your options. If you're going to get a hardwood look, there are a lot of different ways that technology has made hardwood looking floor that will stand up to the life you're going to live on it. If you're looking for carpeting and you want to make sure that you have something that accommodates the pets that you have in your house, or the little feet and the spills and all of that you have in your house, or a hypoallergenic option, they have the Smart Strand line for you to shop there as well as other ones. When you are looking for flooring and you want to shop local, it's important. You get value, you get quality, and you get great customer service. You look at Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can shop them right now and get an estimate online by going to igotfloor.com.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. It's also the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. A new bill in Congress would ensure this free, reliable service remains in cars. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, Trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. This Saturday night at the Family Arena. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gang, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Tickets are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
One of Canada's finest exports. Here comes April Wine. Live. Saturday, September 16th at the Family Arena. Special guest, Aldo Nova. And Honeymoon Suite. Research seat tickets are on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Not all law firms are created equal. Don't risk your future with just any firm. See how Onder Law is different.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
You can still get your vote in for the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. How do you politically identify? MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other? Let us know, and we will bring you the results here shortly. Also, Annie is going to share with us what her food obsession is because she keeps teasing it throughout the entire hour, and I wanted to use this time check to remind her live on the air.
Personally and publicly thank you for saying shortly there?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
The mounting challenges of finding enough police officers to protect us all. Joe Steiger with the St. Louis Police Officers Association is going to weigh in Wednesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I've been wanting to talk about this on the... Do you know who sings this? This is AC/DC.
I thought so. This is their new singer, though, isn't it?
I thought it was Macklemore.
Yeah. This guy's name is...
They got rid of...
This guy's name is Jelly.
All of the original band members and replaced them with completely new people who do hip-hop.
St. Louis
This is
hip-hop
that band?
rappers.
Yeah.
I was talking about this on the air before and teased it to talk about in the last segment, and then I made the biggest blunder of my professional career.
That's great. It was great. Please get the hour of the podcast.
No,
it won't even be on the podcast.
No,
I'm putting it in.
We're erasing it from memory.
Please do, yeah.
I'm putting it in.
Because we talked about it on the show. You have to put it in for us to...
I know.
Yeah, okay. And she doesn't have a choice. You have to do it.
Do you guys have any foods, drinks, anything specific, like a specific order from a specific place. Everybody knows that McDonald's Diet Coke is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's just like a special thing about it.
Yes.
So maybe if you're craving a Diet Coke, you're like, I gotta go to McDonald's to get my Diet Coke. Do you guys have anything that you crave to the point where you're like, this is too much. I need to slow down on this. You're nodding your head. What is it?
Well, I go through phases where I only want to eat one thing at all at certain times. And they go from the wildest things. For a while, it was macaroni and cheese that had a certain brisket dry rub on it. That's all I wanted to eat.
But
it was
where'd
so
you
good.
get it from?
It was just at home. But there was, like, when I go to the store, there is a certain brand of sherbet that I would just eat, like, for a year. That's all I wanted to eat.
Do they have it at Ruler Foods?
I think they might.
I need to know. I'm sure it's delicious.
I'm not sure.
And you should shop at Ruler Foods. I need to keep saying that to atone for my sins.
Get the podcast, please.
Hannah, do you have anything like that?
I'm in a big obsession with Chick-fil-A right now. Like,
what do you get?
2-3 times a week. Just their chicken nuggets, and I love their Chick-fil-A sauce. So I've been eating that nonstop.
Man, I really love the breakfast burrito from Scooters. The bacon breakfast burrito. It's fantastic.
This is what I eat 5 days a week.
You're going to leave from here and go get it. You're so obsessed with it right now.
I've told myself no, maybe the last 2 days, maybe just the last day. I'd have to think about it. Smoothie King.
Mm-hmm.
They have acai bowls. Have you ever had one of those before?
I want to try one.
Yeah, I call them acai.
That's wrong. And I have looked at the pronunciation on Google as well, where you won the panache.
Yeah.
What kind do you get? There's tons
They
of
have,
different kinds.
so I've perfected it. And they have a PB Swizzle bowl. And the first time I went, I was like, I just want to try this. I don't even know how to order this. What is this?
PB Swizzle bowl?
That's what it's called.
Peanut butter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But wait. So I said, what's like the one that the most people like? I just want to try this. I've heard about it. And they said the PB Swizzle. So I just said, okay. And it's an acai blend with granola, strawberries, blueberries, half of banana that's sliced, and then they put peanut butter on top of it. I get PB Swizzle, no peanut butter.
What?
And I replace it with honey. And it is mind-blowing. And I see, I'm going to pull.
I like how dismissive whoever it was told you, you just got to go get the PB Swizzle bowl acai with granola. Like,
well, that's what the PB Swizzle is. I just took the peanut butter off. The honey is less calories.
Honey Swizzle.
Yeah, it's a honey swizzle. The honey is significantly less calories and fat, but the peanut butter also has a lot more protein in it. So it's kind of a healthy
trade. Yeah,
healthy trade. Peanut butter, you can make the case for it. But it's my favorite thing. Like, it is a meal for me. It's so delicious.
That's the way they bill those things.
Yeah, I mean, I that's what I get to eat.
I always thought they were doing it because they're like, you know what we could do is we could charge $10 if we say it's a meal. But they're right.
Not
it
cheap.
is a meal, though.
They are not cheap. But I mean, it's with the peanut butter, it's like 600 calories. I've tried to figure out what it is less, and it is it's got sugar in it. So their build is being healthy, and I looked at the stuff and I'm like, I don't know that this is the bastion of health, but it's definitely better than other fast food meals that you would indulge in.
I'm glad you said that. There are so many places that my wife will say, well, this is healthy. I'm like, you believe the marketing. Look into what it actually is. It's probably the same as getting a McGriddle.
Real quick, you want to read a comment or two on the Annie Frey YouTube channel before we wrap it up here?
Yes. Today we are asking, how do you politically identify? Do you identify as MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other? Carlos said, I voted conservative in the poll. The GOP can go really right, and MAGA is just inflammatory. KK says, constitutional conservative. Anne, am I the only one who detests the MAGA label? Angie commented and said conservative and pro-USA is how she identifies.
I would like to see somebody who's conservative and anti-USA.
Yeah. What kind of conservative? What country are you from? All right. Here are the results to today's YouTube live chat poll from our listeners. How do you politically identify? MAGA, conservative, Republican, or other? 6% said Republican. The loser, 6%.
Wow.
Republican. MAGA, 16%. I'm shocked that that's as low as it was here. 29% say other, and 49%, almost half of our audience, with over 258 votes, said conservative.
I'm surprised that many people said other. I thought conservative was going to run away with that thing, which they kind of did, but it wasn't even 50%.
Yeah, I don't know. I find that very interesting. People listening here seem to resoundingly say conservative. I'll read through all of your comments later because I am curious to see how many maybe not right side thinkers commented on this. And, if I throw a Democrat in there, some people might say, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a liberal, and then I'm not giving them enough options. So trying to do my best. YouTube only gives me 4 options. Thank you for being with us here today, especially you, Ruler Foods. We love you.
Sure do.
You're so awful. So am I. Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how long your money will last? Are you also sick of worrying about losing your life savings in the